January 6th.
I believe you have said that the weaponization fund is a moot issue. Is that your position?
Yes, it is a moot issue, meaning there is no weaponization fund. The weaponization fund is dead.
After the hearing, Cornyn was non-committal on whether he'll support Blanche. A single Republican no vote could sink Blanche's nomination.
Market Numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stocks rallied on Wall Street following a batch of strong earnings reports, gains for big tech, and a better than expected wholesale inflation reading. The Dow added 134 points. The Nasdaq gained 162. The S&P rose 21. BlackRock surged 6% after reported stronger profits and revenue for the latest quarter than analysts expected. In Amsterdam, ASML reported stronger than anticipated revenue growth for the latest quarter. That helped calm some worries about AI tech stocks. Apple hit a record after a report found the iPhone maker got approval to launch its generative AI features in China. SpaceX stock dipped to a new all-time low in intraday trading and for a time was below its IPO price. It closed at $135 a share where it debuted in June. BMW is recalling close to 30,000 vehicles due to a fire risk from a short circuit in the starter relay. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And stock futures all pointing down this morning. The Dow futures are negative 56. NASDAQ futures, they're down 126, and the S&P futures are minus 8. That's the latest news. Stick around. We've got your traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. No delays so far on the roads. They all look good this morning. No problems on 40, 24, or 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to a Thursday. It is July 16th. There is a lot going on. I think I already know the answer to this, Joan, but there is a story out there today about how the state of Tennessee might be trying to lure Paramount Television to the great state of Tennessee.
What do you know about that?
Oh, people are going to lose their ever-loving minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know how that. If you didn't like the Starbucks deal, then you are not going to like this. And so we'll talk about that. We've got the story, and we may do this in the 5:30, Joan. We may do it later. I'm not sure. But that nonsensical restaurant owner in Memphis, Tennessee, where he just, for whatever reason, decided that he was not going to serve members of the National Guard. So, number one, what a putz, especially when you hear what he has to say about why he did it and how the facts actually fly in the face of everything that he says about the National Guard, why they are there, the state of Memphis right now, and on it goes. There's a lot of news to talk about today. By the way, also in the news, I don't know if you saw this, a goodwill gesture from Iran. So a lot going on. Let's get right to it. J.D. Vance, this is my favorite story of the day, actually. J.D. Vance was on Joe Rogan's show. I don't know when they taped it, but it was on yesterday. And he's going after Israel. Big time. So he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast and he says in no particular order that he has been the target and is a target of an Israeli-funded propaganda campaign over his peace push in Iran. Because, you know, Israel wants to just destroy Iran. I understand that. And just so you folks know, I am a supporter of Israel. But, you know, that does come with some conditions. And so I think that for J.D. Vance, he has never been for this war in Iran. And so this is the clearest indication yet that he is trying to end this because he does not like the fact that we are there. He said that on Joe Rogan's show. I've got some video and some audio coming up. But he also talks about how there's some influencers here in America that are being paid to bash the Iran deal and to push the narrative of Israel. Just like the Biden administration, remember, they paid influencers to try and push their agenda. So let's get into this. Now, this isn't, Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. This is the vice president of the United States talking about what is going on with Israel and Iran. Listen.
There was a Time story that came out yesterday that basically there are certain influencers in America who are being paid in order to attack the deal. I think some of it's just pure political ideology, right? It's foreign policy perspectives that are much different from mine. They think that America should that we can basically, you can wave a magic wand with the military and accomplish whatever you want. And, it's not that simple. You actually have to have a very clear objective. Military power can accomplish a clear objective, but you've got to have that clear objective. You can't just say, we're going to bomb until something good happens. That never works. The United States has tried that before. So I think it's a combination of things, but I definitely think you have seen this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal.
So interesting, in that one clip, it sounds like he's criticizing the Trump administration and their war in Iran. The exact quote was, we're going to bomb until something good happens. He says that never works. Well, I don't know if he's intimating that that's what we're doing, but that's kind of what we're doing, isn't it? Like, we're going to bomb until they come to the table. We're going to bomb until we can, get the Strait of Hormuz back open, which is exactly what we're trying to do. I think it's probably still closed this morning. Haven't checked, but I'm assuming that it is. But it's like he's saying that Donald Trump does not have a clear objective right now. So I don't know if that is just sort of like a divide within the Trump administration, but I did find that one comment really interesting. But here's the other thing, is that it feels like JD might be going rogue here on the administration in that one video bite or audio bite. But there is a lot more.
And, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's like worth reading because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
What is their position? Like, are they attacking you how?
oh, it's social media posts. It's they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me, saying that people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson, and there's just so much bullshit out there. When what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the President of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives.
So that is the vice president. Now, I did read the Time article. I don't know if you read it, Joan, but I
didn't read it, no.
I didn't see, because J.D. Vance says, and I'm a big supporter of his, but he says there's a list of people who have been, going after him online, these influencers and so forth. I didn't see a list of people in the article. It was really after, it was really talking about one guy, this Brad Parscale. And he used to work for Donald Trump as a campaign manager. I guess he did some digital stuff. And he's got, basically, here's how it works, is that Parscale has some companies that will come up with social media campaigns to promote Israel. Now, it's all perfectly legal. So basically, you have global PR firms, as the story would go, global PR firms that Israel would use that would hire these firms. These firms would then hire Brad Parscale's company. He would turn around and hire influencers in America and abroad to promote a pro-Israel narrative. That's how it all works. Part of that pro-Israel narrative is going after J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is trying to promote peace by trying to get the war to end. Israel basically just wants to bomb the hell out of Iran until they no longer exist. That's basically what Israel wants to do. So all of this, again, because J.D. Vance is more geared towards pro-peace. I mean, he was looking side-eye at this Iranian conflict since it all began. J.D. Vance, pro-America first, pro-America. America first as in, why are we spending billions of dollars in dealing with Iran when we could be using that money to help Americans? I think, wasn't it J.D. Vance who said a long time ago, I don't really give a crap what happens in Ukraine? I mean, I think that taps into a very specific America first mentality, which I'm going to say I don't disagree with. I understand exactly the mentality that J.D. Vance is sort of tapping into, and it is a very legit argument. It is no secret that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, the Trump administration, have not seen eye to eye on Iran. And so what Vance is saying here, it does play right into that discussion. I've got a lot more on this, J.D. Vance, and, calling out, I don't think he's calling out Donald Trump. He's not calling out Trump. He's calling out, basically Israel is what it sounds like to me. And Israel hiring these influencers to go after him personally and specifically. Some very powerful words from J.D. Vance. Got a lot more straight ahead. It is 5:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
So we have very quiet roads this morning. Things are looking pretty good on 40, on 65, and on 24. No big delays so far. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Since you had so little in traffic and clearly we caught you off guard.
Yeah, no, that was an intentional pause.
Was that a dramatic
pause?
Sure,
yeah. Uh-huh.
The entire city of Nashville waiting, edge of our seats, waiting for the traffic report that says nothing is happening.
That's right.
But since you had nothing to say in traffic, can you help me out with a weather report?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, I didn't send you a weather report, did I?
No.
So we've got a dense fog advisory. It's in parts
it's in
of
your head.
It's in my head.
Dense fog advisory is in Joan's head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Especially near the Cumberland Plateau. That'll exist through 8 o'clock this morning. But for the rest of the day, it's a mix of clouds and sun. We'll have a high of 90. There is a chance of afternoon thunderstorms.
Literally the same as yesterday.
Yeah, very much the same. Did you get a downpour like crazy yesterday?
Yes.
Woof.
We did. And sort of in Mount Juliet. Like, so I was inside and
Okay.
I was had to go to a funeral yesterday. So it was, so I know that it was raining. How hard it was raining, I don't know because the whole thing was inside. But I'll tell you what, we came outside and it was wet as all get out.
Soppy,
So,
yeah.
yes, indeed. All right. And by the way, coming up, do you want to talk about the text message you got, Joan?
Oh, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
So, because Joan got a text message that specifically relates to what I'm talking about now with JD Vance and the social media influencers not only going after the vice president for, having the audacity to be, pro-peace and pro-America first. And turns out Joan got a text message from one of these people. So we're going to talk about that coming up here on Super Talk 99.7. I do want to get all my video in regarding JD Vance and as he is going after, Israel and the influencers for going after him for simply wanting to negotiate a peace deal. Here's more from that interview, JD Vance and Joe Rogan.
Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans meaning American leadership, allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first, and that's the way that I've tried to do this job.
I mean, it's not often you hear the vice president telling people to go to hell, but that is exactly what he did. And part of that Time magazine article said that there were people inside the Trump administration that were being influenced by these campaigns that were financed ultimately by parts of the Israeli government. So I do like that JD Vance is being so open about his frustrations here. It was a very raw discussion. And so you can hear his frustrations. And he's got to be frustrated with the Trump administration and Iran and Israel and the whole thing. And, part of this, I think, is really, in my opinion, setting up JD Vance to run in 2028. Because if there's one issue that there is a definite disagreement on, it is on Iran and Israel and America first. And what exactly does that mean? Because you've got Marco Rubio. We talked a little bit about this last week. You got Marco Rubio, who is all in on, bombing Iran and doing all of that kind of stuff. And then you've got JD Vance, who is literally trying to negotiate a peace deal because he genuinely wants out of this thing. And so, you can hear his frustrations. And the other thing is that if this Iran deal continues to not be a good thing for the Trump administration, which I don't think that it is right now, then JD Vance, he's going on record basically as saying that he was not for this. And his only involvement was to try to come up with a peace deal and trying to get out of it. And so I think this sets him up nicely for 2028. Remember, by the way, there was the reporting.
Hang on. There's another side of that story.
Go.
So I will not name who it is, but there is a contingent of people who are younger who their argument is that with this interview with Joe Rogan, JD Vance lost the plot.
Really?
Yes.
Go. Tell me.
So in a text. This person said, yes, every government worldwide tries to influence American citizens, Israel too. Even JD says as much during the show. But Middle Eastern money spent on propaganda in America outmatches Israel's greater than 10-1. Meantime, JD is blaming Israel for the MOU when Israel was continuously attacked while the MOU was in effect, claiming that the Israelis are responsible for his declining approval and stating that Epstein was an agent of Mossad, all on the Joe Rogan podcast. He has completely lost the plot.
Interesting.
Yep. So, J.D. Vance may have dug a hole for himself if you talk to some people.
So I didn't hear the part about Israel and Epstein. I did not hear that part, but that's been out there for a long time.
Sure.
I mean, that's been something that's been out there for a long time. Remember in the Time magazine article, I think did talk about this, Charlie Kirk and Netanyahu communicated about young American conservatives losing their support for Israel. Remember that whole thing? Mm-hmm. So Charlie, of course, was very concerned about all of this. And I think this Israel factor within the conservative movement, I think this is going to be something that is going to be a huge conversation in the presidential primary in 2028. I think that it is. I think that it is.
I think that this contingent of people, young people who feel this way, feel like J.D. Vance is falling closer to the Candace Owens faction of the party.
I would say this, though. Like, I don't think, and I don't listen to Candace Owens, so I don't really know, but it sounds like what J.D. Vance is saying is he is just following the plot of that Time magazine article. Like, he's not just concocting things out of midair, like some of these influencers do. He is literally quoting the Time magazine article. So there is a difference between what JD is doing and what Candace Owens is doing. This is from the Time magazine article, all right? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government had hired this Brad Parscale to improve the nation's standing among conservatives, only to watch support continue to erode on the American right and across the broader U.S. electorate. They say, one Israeli official, we are pissed at Brad Parscale, says one Israeli official familiar with the arrangement who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. He was supposed to make things better. We have paid him lots of money, but what did he do with it? Things have only gotten worse. And my 2 cents on that would be, just calling balls and strikes on this. Well, oftentimes Israel, if you have, Donald Trump trying to negotiate a peace deal, Israel would continue to bomb Lebanon. But the other side of that is Israel was defending itself against Hezbollah. Then you would have Donald Trump come out and say, well, you've got a couple of rockets that land somewhere in Israel in the desert. And so then Israel has to take out an apartment building full of innocent people. Donald Trump said that. So I support Israel. I don't know exactly where JD stands. I think he's frustrated with what he is saying is this influence campaign against him and against the peace deal that he is trying to negotiate with Iran. I think that JD is incredibly America first. And what I'm hearing with this is that he is America first. But you can also talk about America first is trying to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon because they would be able to really wreak some havoc across the Middle East and really take over the Strait of Hormuz, because then they would have nuclear weapons, pointed at, our allies in the Middle East, Europe, our military bases in the Middle East, you name it. So I don't know. See, there's a lot of nuance to this conversation.
Yes.
It's not just, oh, he's America first. Oh, he's not America first. Oh, JD's lost the plot. There's a lot here. And there's a lot of different layers. I find this fascinating. Now, you got a text message from one. It was what would you call it?
So it was
like a question, a text questionnaire.
Yeah, kind of like one of those, hey, would you take a couple of minutes to answer a few questions for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. It started out, you want me to read it?
Sam,
Do you want to save it?
Sam, how much time do we have? Let's do
We
it.
really don't have a lot of time.
He's giving me the wrap up windmill.
Yeah.
Mandis, you're talking too much thing.
Giving you the finger.
He's giving me the finger.
The whirling finger.
The whirling finger.
Yeah.
All right. So coming up at 5:35, we're going to find out what this organization related to Brad Parscale, named in the Time magazine article, has to say to one Joan Jones. That is straight ahead. 5:26. Joan has the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, something is about to happen any minute now in the skies above Texas. It's pretty cool too. I've got that story. Are you hanging on like by a thread? That was
sure.
Yeah.
Right there on the edge of my seat.
I
just
knew
only
it.
wish I was in Texas so that I could see it, Joan.
See, you know what it is. Okay, so it's happening in a couple of minutes. We're going to tell you what it is coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It is 5:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got a dense fog advisory for parts of Middle Tennessee today, especially near the Cumberland Plateau. That'll exist until 8 this morning. Mix of clouds and sun today, a chance of thunderstorms and a high of 90. A former Montgomery County teacher has now been arrested for showing a nude photo of himself to a female teenage student. His arrest, though, comes months after the incident happened on March 9th. The girl's parents telling WSMV4 that teacher Matthew Vetter claimed it was just an accident.
Like your grandparents used to tell you, where there's smoke, there's fire. And we knew that there was a fire there. She believes she stood up for what was right and that moving forward, there won't be more victims from him. At school, at least, because she spoke up and had a backbone.
Now, after the incident, Clarksville Montgomery schools reassigned Vetter, but he later resigned. His wife, Jean Luna Vetter, continues to be employed as the superintendent of schools. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announcing that the service members aged 30 and older are going to receive annual testosterone screenings as part of their routine health assessments. And those diagnosed with a testosterone deficiency will have the option to undergo testosterone replacement therapy.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is rolling out a new program to screen troops for low testosterone.
Ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
The test will be part of annual health screenings for troops 30 and older. Younger troops can volunteer to be tested. Any treatment would be up to the individual soldier.
ABC's Sophie Flay. Just a couple of minutes from now, SpaceX is set to launch the world's most powerful rocket. It's the first test flight since that aerospace giant became a publicly traded company in June. Now, it'll launch from the Starbase facility in Texas. The launch window opens at 5:45 Central Time. The company has 90 minutes to get that rocket off the pad, depending on weather conditions and technical problems. NASA is hoping for success here. It wants to use the lunar lander version of the spacecraft to put astronauts back on the moon. We'll keep you posted. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis. Don't forget, Friday, August 7th, the Glock store is having a VIP day featuring the brand new O-Side optics. These are all the rage. I don't know if you've seen the reviews, but they've been phenomenal. Bigger, clearer viewing window and an excellent value for the price. The Glock store has them. Now, these O-Side optics, they've got a longer battery life and multiple brightness settings, all designed to make you a more accurate shot. Now, what do I always say about the Glock store? They've always got the latest and greatest equipment. Now, coming up on Friday, August 7th, from noon until 5, you are going to get a chance to check out these O-Side optics up close and personal with the Glock store. You're going to be hands-on with O-Side optics in the Shoot 270 shooting rooms. Get expert CCW tips and tactics, learn red dot install and bore sighting techniques, and yes, enjoy a delicious catered lunch. This is going to be a massive event at the Glock store again, Friday, August 7th. When you buy your tickets, you're going to get a big old gift bag full of gear worth over $2,000. And that's going to include a brand new O-Side optic. Go to Glockstore.com/VIP to grab those tickets. That is Friday, August 7th. There's even more O-Side events on Saturday, the 8th, with hands-on range time, great giveaways, exclusive indoor discounts, free O-Site swag, and a whole lot more. It is O-Site August at the Glock store. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. The Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere.
Okay, there is an accident this morning in Clarksville. You've got it on 24 eastbound past Martin Luther King Parkway, exit 11. Also in Walter Hill, this is Rutherford County, you've got an accident at Lebanon Pike, north of Jefferson Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.539 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open. 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. Hey, Joan, you know what's cool?
What's that?
They got some nice little graphics going on now over there on Super Talk TV.
I was just watching that. Funny you should say that.
Yeah, so if you want to go see the cool graphics over on Super Talk TV, you'll find us on YouTube, X, Facebook. We still on Rumble, 99.7 WTN.com, all that. So go watch the radio show as it continues across this Thursday, July 16th. Did you want to talk about, real quick, Sam, did you want to talk about yesterday and what happened to you yesterday in the parking lot?
Yeah, I got jumped.
Yes or no? You did get jumped. Yes or no? Because I got a lot to do.
It's fine. Yeah.
So Joan, just file this under, you never know what's going to happen at WTN, because Sam, he got preyed on, like in a good way, by, that sounded just weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
He got preyed upon, that still sounds weird, by Monty Fritz.
I was about to say, people prayed for me.
And John Henry. So a member, so somebody running for governor and somebody running for Congress, both of them prayed for Sam.
Yeah. So...
Did they, like, hands-on?
Yeah.
Love that.
It was awesome. So...
Love it.
The other day, I mentioned on the air that I wanted a T-shirt, and Chris was in contact with the Fritz campaign, and they were trying to hook me up with a T-shirt. Didn't have one of my size. So when Monty finished up with Chris yesterday, he was like, hey, man, come out to the car. I've got some hats. If you want to run them back in the studio, that'd be great. So I grabbed one for myself, brought some more in here. John Henry was pulling up because he was coming in to sit down and talk with Chris. And as Monty and I were walking out, I got a little vulnerable with him and just wanted to let him know, and kind of who supports him, myself as just an individual, not as a producer here at the station or anything, just as a citizen and resident of the state. And as we got to the car and everything, he felt the urge to pray for me, and John Henry happened to be getting on the car at the same time, and so they both put their arms on me. Monty led a beautiful prayer, and you can always tell by the way someone prays where their heart lies, and it was very powerful. I walked away from it feeling great. We hugged. I just kind of thought to myself, wouldn't it be crazy if I got to tell people, hey, the new governor of the state of Tennessee prayed over me before he even knew he had a chance at that. Now, it'd be a beautiful story. Obviously, I would love to see it work out because I'm involved in that, but it was a very powerful moment, and I just don't think you're going to find another candidate that's going to have the urge. And it's like a willingness came over Monty that he felt that he needed to minister to me in that moment. And I needed it at the end of the day. I really did. Do
you see how traumatic it is for Sam working on Nashville's Morning News?
I do.
He's got to have like gubernatorial candidates pray for him after his shift.
Yeah.
And throw in a guy running for Congress.
Yeah.
So.
And so the sergeant major and Monty, they both kind of asked me, my career aspirations and stuff as a young man, and they want to see me get there. They want to see me fulfill my dreams and do it here. I don't want to move.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that waking up at 4:00 in the morning to hang out with me and Joan is not your career aspiration?
Come on, Sam.
Come on, dude.
It's for now.
What?
It's for now.
For now. Like, what time is it?
We're a place marker. Great.
Joan, I don't know about you, but I feel like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you told the PD in Indiana?
What?
This is a stepping stone.
I was the PD in Indiana.
Exactly.
And whatever. Well, anyway, that's pretty cool. So I love that. That's great.
Oh, and just to speak to the character of these people, I didn't ask for it. I wasn't trying to insert myself. Monty offered, and John stepped up, and that's what you want from your leadership. That's what you should want from people you're sending to Congress or sending to the governor's seat, is unasked for help.
Yeah.
If they see that someone needs something and that's their response. That's what I want for the people of Tennessee.
All right, very good. As he wears wearing a Monty Fritz hat.
Yes.
Which actually, those are pretty cool hats.
They're
I will
really
say.
comfortable.
All right, so real quick, Joan. So this is Joan's World. Have you finished the Joan's World theme yet?
I have. Has Sam? Have you?
I'm actually working on it.
Okay.
You are. Oh, that's
Yes.
pretty cool.
All right, so I'm gonna call the shots here on this though. I want to do the 77-year-old woman though.
Yeah.
These are all your topics, but I'm gonna tell you which ones we're gonna do. 77-year-old woman is now speaking about the state of Florida, which sent her a randomized license plate number. Go ahead, Joan. Tell us the story.
So she gets this. They're calling it randomized, like when you get a new car and you get the plates, and you don't get the vanity plates, you just get normal plates. And they sent her a plate that actually, when you read it, and if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll understand. But when you're reading it, am I allowed to say that word?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at this, it actually looks like it says squeeze ass.
SQZA55.
Isn't that crazy?
And the funny thing is, it's Florida, so there's a couple of oranges in between the words.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I saw that, I'm sort of laughing because I'm thinking about squeezing oranges.
Yeah.
Which could be one orange for each butt cheek, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so there you go. So very funny. This
is the audio of her?
Yeah, this is what she said.
I don't think a woman that lives in a senior community that's going to be 77 years old next month will be driving around with what this plate has to say.
You know what?
And then somebody responded. This was on X, and somebody that I follow responded, "I would kill for that plate." She could probably sell it.
Do you know what's so funny though, Joan? She's like getting all high and mighty about. Does she know the percentage of seniors with venereal disease in the villages is off the charts?
It's rampant.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what.
She probably is aware of that, and she's like, I don't need any free advertising rolling through the gates of, Gentle Stones or whatever the name of the community is.
You know what they really need there in the villages is you need like your old people stuff, like I don't know, is it Geritol, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Miralax or whatever. And they also need penicillin.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
In a big way.
So I was surprised. Yeah, because remember that story a long time ago, Joan, where they talked about what do they call it when just the bed hopping of in the villages?
Yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank? When people bed hop, what do they call that?
Sleep around?
No, it's something.
Swinging?
Swinging. The swinging that happens in the villages.
Me knowing what that means.
Yeah, Joan. Not very godly of you. I bet, you know what, Joan? I bet she'll let you have that squeeze ass, license plate if you'd like it.
Yeah, sure.
This goes right along with what you just said.
Before you leave the topic, can you guess what city has the highest rate of STIs in elderly people?
In Florida or?
Just nationwide.
Oh, okay, wait. Memphis.
No.
What?
This is no joke. Washington, D.C.
Oh, I bet.
Not shocking.
Where are you getting that from? What's your source, Sam?
The Sacramento Bee.
Okay.
That's legit. I wonder why Washington, D.C.? Is it just because,
Well, they lower the age. They say adults age 55 and older with 881 cases per 100,000 people.
I can tell you why.
What do we talk about when we say cases? Are we talking about like herpes simplex 9 or?
They caught anything.
Syphilis?
Anything, any sexually transmitted disease. And I can tell you why.
Why?
You just look at the people that you're watching on TV, all of the politicians, all of their staff, all of the journalists. It is a swamp, and I mean that. It is a swamp of people who regularly cheat on their spouses, sleep around. You think Eric Swalwell was like just a singular case? No. No.
Oh, he was mild.
So he wasn't an outlier, is what you're saying,
No, he was
Joan?
not. Let me tell you, Washington, D.C. is a bigger swamp than any of us believe. Probably bigger than I believe, and I was there and I saw it.
Well, and you're not talking political. You're talking obviously moral and character.
Absolutely.
But it's not just the politicians. I mean, there are a lot of people, as far as a market goes, like a big city market, I think it's like number 5 or number 6, isn't it? So you got a lot of people that live in the Washington, D.C. metro as well. So
the surging infection rates among older Americans are largely driven by a lack of condom use, rising divorce rates, and the availability of ED medications.
Of ED medication?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that available like everywhere?
Exactly. That's why, but you can get it at a gas station. Yeah.
You can get ED medication at a gas station?
There's a YouTuber, he's a pharmacist, and he goes through all the unregulated supplements and medications that end up in like gas stations and little markets.
Okay. Joan, Don Lemon, let's just move right along.
Yeah.
I had no idea you could buy that stuff at a gas station.
Reprehensible.
What's that?
Just someone else who's morally reprehensible.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Listen to Don. I mean, I've never seen a bigger ego in all of my life. This guy is obnoxious.
All right, this is
Go
Don
for it.
Lemon.
Your political ambition, is that true? No, but people keep asking me if I'm running for president. And I don't know, I might. I'm serious. I don't know. I might because people keep asking me to do it. I actually think I would be a really good president of the United States.
Okay, like you're being serious.
No, I'm being totally serious.
So what would it take?
For the people to want me.
Your political ambition?
So there you go. What would it take for people to want me? Well, I
Hey,
don't
listen,
know.
Everybody's asking him to.
Everybody, Joan.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. And he's
is
sitting
asking,
there. So he just believes. If you're watching that, you can tell that he thinks a lot of himself. He's dressed very well. You know, they're holding this conversation, I think, in his backyard. You know, he's got one leg slung over the other and his collar partially turned up. Like,
Well, again, Don Lemon he's never wearing socks. It looks like he's wearing slippers. He's wearing white pants. Can I say, though, if this is his home, this is how I get, right? So
are you about to critique his grass?
Get the saucer of milk. So if this is really his backyard, look in his pool. Dude, if you got people coming over, get the leaves out of the bottom of your pool. like for people listening on the radio, the pool is in the background, and he's clearly, and I know this because I have a swimming pool, he's got leaves in the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
Get the little pool vacuum out that you spent about $400 on, and clean the pool.
Yeah, there's a relatively large tree several feet away from it that's clearly dropping stuff in there. You should be better prepared.
Yeah, and yeah, his grass looks a little unruly.
Yeah, it needs to be
kind of like how my hair looked when I had it when I'd wake up in the morning. That's what it looks like.
By the way, he's not saying everybody isn't a lot of people. Everybody is the name of his slave that he keeps in the basement for personal reasons. And he's now got Stockholm syndrome, so he keeps asking him if he's going to run for president. Because then maybe he'll get out of the basement.
Sam says without evidence.
Yeah.
Joan, let's do Freddie Loves Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. So you remember the story about Freddie. He's the guy from Germany. He's been here on a trip. He started this trip because he was following around, the soccer teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually had to shut down all of his social media accounts because, some bad hombres decided that he might be a little bit on the right in his ways of thinking. So they, they went into all of his past posts and found some things that he said and started, doxing him. And he said, I have to shut it down because they're just following me around and they're going to get me killed.
Some people are so dumb.
The left is so violent. So eventually he said, you know what? I can't do this. Like, that's not the right thing to do. So he opened back up his X account, and one of his most recent posts, I guess this was yesterday, said Tennessee with a heart. When people told us at the beginning of our road trip that people in the South are different, we didn't really know what they meant. But after spending several weeks here, we finally understand. The hospitality here is just something else. Everyone knows everyone. It feels like people are living one big shared life. Someone's always stopping by. Doors are always open. Everyone is always welcome. And then he goes on to, just effusively praise Tennessee. Loving on it. So it will.
I love that.
Yeah. He was in, I don't know how to say the name of it, but Ocoee, Tennessee.
Ocoee.
Say it again.
Ocoee,
Tennessee.
Yep, famous river down there.
Okay. He said, he just loves it here. So he tells a story about a guy said he hasn't locked his house in 23 years. And when we were out on the lake, we met some people who immediately invited us to their lake house to hang out.
Yep.
They offered us drinks, chicken wings, made us feel completely at home. It's kind of hospitality I have never experienced
Some
before.
sweet tea. I bet you they offered him some sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We said that we were going to talk about your text.
Yeah.
With Brad Parscale. Now, this is related to the first segment of the radio program today, where J.D. Vance, at Time Magazine, name-checked this guy, Brad Parscale, who used to work for Donald Trump as a campaign manager.
Campaign manager, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he runs social media campaigns, and the accusation from Time Magazine is that this former campaign manager, Brad Parscale, is running a campaign that is, being run effectively and paid for by Israel. And they're attacking J.D. Vance for wanting peace in the Middle East through just trying to negotiate with Iran. So Joan gets a text message.
Yeah, out of the blue yesterday. I thought this was so odd, and then it just started connecting all day long. So it starts out with, "Hi, I'm James. We're gathering opinions on the U.S.-Israel relationship and regional stability. Have a minute?" So I said, "Hey, James, what company are you with?" And he said, "I'm with Friends for Peace, a supporter group focused on correcting misinformation and sharing accurate information about Israel and the Middle East." So I said, okay, well, I got to go check out Friends for Peace. There is no actual organization, like there is no friendsforpeace.org or anything like that. But when you Google that, people have gotten the exact same message, and they're talking about it online. And they call these mysterious peace groups sending America pro-Israel text messages. And this article from responsiblestatecraft.org, I don't know what that is. I'm not attesting to it. Starts out with, "Jessica, a mother in Alabama, received a text on the evening of January 7th. Hi, this is John with Friends for Peace. We're gathering views on Israel today. Would like to hear yours. Got a moment to chat?" Very similar. So this has been going on. These are, this is connected to this guy, Brad Parscale. So even after I asked him for this and he sent me that, while I'm looking for more information, he shoots another text to me very quickly. And it says, "Just checking back. Iran funds terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas that repeatedly target Israel and destabilize the Middle East. Israel stands on the front line against these threats, but a nuclear-armed Iran would endanger Israel, Europe, and America. Do you think confronting Iran now actually helps America avoid a bigger war later, or do you worry that it's the opposite?" So he's trying to engage.
Very leading question.
Oh, yes.
Very leading question.
Right. So that's, hey, Iran threatens the entire world. Don't you think we should be there fighting against them?
Don't you believe we should nuke Iran like right now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it seems to me. And I think that's linked to this Brad Parscale guy. So, yeah.
It's very funny to be caught up that quickly in something that's just exploding all over the place right now.
Yeah, because if you missed the opening segment, if you missed the 5:05 to 5:20 segment, then J.D. Vance was calling all of this out in this podcast with Joe Rogan. So we'll perhaps pick this up here in a little bit. It is 5:57. Joan has the news coming up at 6 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, the owner of a pizza shop in Memphis is getting a lot of pushback for something he just did. We'll explain coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And the owner of a pizza shop in Memphis is defending his decision to turn away 4 Tennessee National Guardsmen who came in to grab some lunch. Miles Tambole says despite receiving phone calls and emails calling him out for what he did, he maintains that he did the right thing. Tambole has been forced to temporarily close the doors of his business for all the negative press and exposure to it on social media. Meantime, the sharp turnaround in Memphis crime because of that task force has led to a new statewide task force being created. Here's Memphis Action News 5's Michaela Redmond.
The new statewide task force is chaired by the TBI director along with the safety commissioner and appointed district attorneys, sheriffs, and police chiefs. A total of 8 members deciding when crime in a jurisdiction is so prevalent that it threatens public safety and additional safe initiative operations are needed. TBI has been authorized to hire 32 new agents. The agency posted on Facebook about a virtual recruitment fair in Memphis on July 29th to help hire new agents.
Now, this hiring event is in Memphis. However, not all 32 new hires are being assigned to Memphis. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Equities investors shrugged off rising oil prices Wednesday to lift the Dow Jones 150 points higher to 52,659. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.6%. The S&P added 0.4 and closed near its all-time high. The Trump administration's latest tariff dispute is with Brazil. The U.S. is hitting some Brazilian imports with new 25% tariffs, claiming unfair trade practices. There are exemptions for many products, including coffee, beef, and orange juice. With World Cup competition winding down, economists are beginning to gauge the financial impact on U.S. host cities. The Federal Reserve's Beige Book says gains for hotels, bars, and restaurants were largely offset by higher gas prices. The airline industry is worried about some new bets coming to prediction markets. Kalshi is planning to expand betting on flight cancellations. Critics warn that could lead to some bettors trying to tip the scales by doing things like calling in bomb threats. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock future is mixed now. The Dow futures plus 100, NASDAQ futures down 174. The S&P futures are down 13. That's the latest news. Stick around. We've got traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:03 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listen, if you've got a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to. My friends at Loan Pronto, they can help you get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Now, that's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. Now, it does get better. Actually, there's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, and no long drawn-out process, and no closing costs as well. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments, all when you work through Loan Pronto. So call them now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com is the website, LoanPronto.com. See how much money you can get right now. The phone number is 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
There is an accident in Clarksville. It's on 24 eastbound side past Martin Luther King Parkway. The left shoulder is blocked off. Madison, 65 northbound past Briley Parkway, exit 90AB. There is debris in the HOV lane. Careful there. Lebanon Pike and Walter Hill, you've got a crash north of Jefferson Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well and welcome on in. It is Thursday. I'll go ahead and say it, Joan. I'm going to go Friday Eve today.
Oh, yeah?
Now, if Matt Murphy wants to go and kick a puppy because somebody said Friday Eve, well, then so be it.
We got to compromise here. We don't need to kick puppies. We'll just Friday Junior.
You know what? Whatever. I'm just excited that we are one day away from Friday. It's been a long week, so looking forward to the weekend already. What is Donald Trump going to say tonight? So he's got a big speech tonight, right, Joan? Donald Trump coming out tonight at, I don't even know what time is it, probably 8 o'clock, late for us.
Yeah.
9 Eastern, which would be 8 Central, I believe is what time these speeches usually are. But anyway, the president is...
Yeah, that's what time it is. 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
So he's got a big speech tonight. He's kind of being coy on what it's about, but he was asked about this speech the other day.
Anticipating your big announcement on Thursday night regarding election machines and integrity, can you give us sort of a sneak peek about what to expect and tell the audience?
Well, I'd rather save it. It will concern that subject, and we'll have a couple of other things to
Why
say
should people
also.
watch, though?
But I'd rather save it, but it's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement.
So apparently he is going to say that China was caught now interfering in the election of 2020 with Joe Biden in favor of Joe Biden. Now, remember that, and this is all, I don't know, pretty well-worn territory. I mean, we've all, I don't know about everybody, but I know that I've talked about this before, these accusations that China wanted Joe Biden to win. Remember that Biden was always very friendly to China. Donald Trump has been the exact opposite. You know, Biden with the now infamous quote, you know, they're good folks, or fine folks, or whatever it was that Joe Biden said. You know, really a friend to China when honestly China is our enemy. Donald Trump knows that. Everybody knows that. But so now the question is, Donald Trump tonight, 8 o'clock Central, apparently is going to have this big speech where he is going to accuse China of trying to and apparently interfering in our 2020 election in favor of Joe Biden. So one of the things is they're talking about, of course, all of this going to be based on recently declassified documents that will be released on Friday. So apparently there are some receipts to back up the president's accusations. They were found within the FBI, the CIA, and the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. So I guess there were a lot of maybe, I don't know, documents laying around these three various departments or agencies, and they found them. And there is proof that not only was China interfering in favor of Joe Biden, but that we've known about it and didn't do anything about it. That at least would be the implication. We've all suspected that China and other governments as well could be doing this. The question is, again, does the president have those receipts? And my biggest question is what will be done about it? Because, as I said, China is not our friend. They've never been our friend. At least they have not been our friend in many, many, many years. And the other thing is, how do we prevent them from doing it all again? I think part of this conversation is going to be part of the full court press to get the Save America Act passed. I think that's part of what this whole thing is. Remember that all of this is geared towards free, fair, and credible elections. That includes the clearing of voter rolls and utilizing voter ID. So that's going to be tonight. You just heard Donald Trump say that it's going to be about election integrity. Word is it's going to be about China interfering in our elections back in 2020 to help Joe Biden. He said there's going to be other things as well. We'll see what the president has to say. I want receipts. It sounds like those receipts will be released on Friday.
So just to add on to that, it went viral yesterday. Mark Cook, who I believe he's got experience with mechanical, electrical engineering, computer science, hardware, software development, cybersecurity. That's just his background. And he got up in front of a live audience and apparently went through how these votes can be manipulated within the computer program system, even from a hacking standpoint.
Well, so there's a number of different things we could talk about, right? So there is information, campaigns or disinformation campaigns that, we're talking about in the 5 o'clock hour. So there are, those kind of campaigns that is paid for by China, paid for by Israel, paid for by, whatever country wants to lodge these disinformation campaigns. Then there's actual hacking. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what this guy is talking about, is actual hacking. And again, I don't know what Donald Trump is going to bring to the table, but I do hope that it's something substantive. And I don't think the president would come forward with this if at least he didn't feel like these were substantive allegations. Now, J.D. Vance, by the way, was asked about all of this, and he was also asked about the Save America Act. So the reporter said, even if the Save America Act is passed, which it's not going to pass, but it won't be implemented until after November. Early voting has already begun in some places. Early voting starts tomorrow here in Tennessee. So this is one of those things where J.D. Vance is like, well, yeah, but it's not about today. It's not about tomorrow. It is about our elections moving forward from this point on, regardless as to whether or not it'll be implemented in time for the midterms. It really is something that we need to focus on moving forward.
Well, look, of course, we're going to support the results of the midterm elections. We think we're going to win, but ultimately that's up to the American people. But we also think we have to do everything that we can to discourage cheating. Because you will hear Democrats sometimes say, and I love this line, I can't help but laugh at it, cheating isn't that frequent in American elections. Any frequency at all is a problem. A single ballot cast illegally in an American election is, in fact, the theft of the ballot from another American citizen, from an American citizen who deserves to be able to vote. So you're right. The elections, in some ways, the process is already getting started for 2026, but you don't pass a piece of legislation because you think you're going to immediately benefit from it. You pass a piece of legislation because you think the American people are going to benefit from it over the long haul. We have to do it. Save America is not mainly about 2026, to your question. Yep. It's actually about saving America's elections well into the future.
All right, and J.D. Vance obviously correct there. The Save America Act, as you know, focuses on mandating voter ID laws, clearing the voter rolls of ineligible voters, safeguarding who can vote and who cannot vote. And so a lot of people in the media and in Republican circles, they are worried about what the president is going to say tonight. I'm going to get into some details straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan, well, whoever's got the traffic right now in WTN. As far as your weather goes, a dense fog advisory for parts of Middle Tennessee, especially near the Cumberland Plateau. Mix of clouds and sun today. High of 90. Chances of afternoon thunderstorms as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, by the way, 615-737-9986. So what is it that Republicans are worried about that Donald Trump is going to be saying tonight in his big speech? They're worried that this talk of 2020, again, going backwards, is going to distract from what is going on right now.
Last question. Tomorrow the president's going to give this big speech on the elections. A lot of Republicans here want him to focus on the 2026 midterms and not to relitigate his claims about the 2020 elections. Would you encourage him to steer clear of those unfounded claims that he is actually the true victor of the 2020 elections?
I love these questions, the unfounded claims. You're basically assuming an answer in the very question that you ask. Manu, what I'd say is we can do a lot. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're doing so many things. We got the one big beautiful bill passed that cut taxes on Social Security, cut taxes on tips, cut taxes on overtime, delivered thousands of additional dollars into the pockets of the average American family. We're very proud of that. It's one of the things that we talked about in there was we need to talk about it more. We need to tell the American people all the amazing benefits that are in those working families' tax cuts. We also have a lot of other things going on in the country. The president's going to talk about a number of things tomorrow night. I'm obviously not going to get ahead of his remarks, but we can talk about a number of the American people's problems. We can solve a number of the American people's problems. And that's exactly what we're going to work with our House colleagues and our Senate friends.
You know what's so funny about the way that reporter framed that question is he said, Donald Trump talking about these, what did he say, unfounded accusations of election interference or whatever. We haven't even seen what Trump or heard what Trump is going to say tonight. And this reporter is already saying that they're unfounded accusations. Dude, why didn't you wait to see what the president has to say? May very well not be unfounded. The president may very well be bringing receipts. But you see, and I appreciate what J.D. Vance is saying. I do, and I'm not criticizing Donald Trump. But when the vice president says, well, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, the media can't. And so you know what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen is this is going to send the media rushing to Republican candidates and stirring up all of that talk again of January 6th. Was Joe Biden the legitimate president of the United States? Will that particular politician stand by the results of the midterm elections and all elections moving forward? I mean, that's what the media is going to do. But I think if Donald Trump brings the receipts and there's real evidence of election interference, then the president is right to bring it up. They may even, by the way, just warning you, they may even call what the president has to say as more conspiracy theories that the president will spread tonight. And I'm going to call BS on that because there are legit concerns about election integrity in this country. There are serious concerns about, for example, China hacking into our elections and disinformation campaigns and the rest of that. Last night with J.D. Vance and Joe Rogan, they were talking about all of this.
Well, it's just very disheartening that you have to consider the fact that it's really possible that the elections get stolen. And the California one was a big one for me.
And why not just have mail-in, or why not just have voter ID?
Yeah. That's insane. Not only did they not have voter ID,
Yeah.
you can't show your ID. You're not allowed to show your ID.
You can in fact be prosecuted if you try to force somebody to show their
Which
ID.
Seems like you want people to cheat.
Exactly.
And this is from the same people that were saying you have to have an ID that shows you've been vaccinated just 4
So, like,
years ago to go to a
grocery
restaurant.
shopping or to go to a restaurant. Yeah, no, it's definitely, that's the part about it that I think makes most people of my political persuasion skeptical of what the Democrats are doing.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to cheat in the election, then just make everybody actually show an ID.
Yep, not that hard. Show an ID. Now, remember, this is like an 80-20 issue, 90-10 issue. The vast majority of the American people want voter ID. They want secure elections. And as Joe Rogan says and J.D. Vance says, it just makes sense. It's just common sense. So now you have the Democrats, as this whole thing is coming out about Donald Trump's speech tonight. One of the things that they're saying, and we did mention this yesterday, is that the president is setting up a situation where if Republicans lose the midterms, he'll blame China, he'll blame hacking. I don't know. It all just depends on what the president brings to the table tomorrow or tonight as far as what the accusations are going to be. And then tomorrow as far as the receipts go. But, my comment back to the Democrats and the media would be, if you want to shut the president up, if you want to shut J.D. Vance up, if you want to shut conservatives up about, being election deniers, then secure the elections. That's all you got to do. It is simple as that. Secure the elections. They won't do it because, as I've said ad nauseum, they want to keep the ability to manipulate and to cheat.
I'm not skeptical. I'm accusing them. I think they stole the election.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think it's common. And this idea that elections can't be stolen. I always say to people, okay, do you think that the amount of election fraud is 0%? No one thinks that.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's zero.
Exactly.
There's always some overzealous person that works somewhere that's doing something. There's always crazy people that like blue no matter who, we got to win, or red no matter what. There's always people, right and left, that are going to try to rig the election because they think it's imperative. Look, we saw there was people like Oprah Winfrey was saying it. Like, if we don't win this election, you may never vote again. Like, what are we talking about? Like, why? Who's going to tolerate that? Left or right? That's crazy.
Yeah, they do. They justify whatever cheating they may do by saying, well, it's going to be the end of civilization as we know it, right? That's what the Democrats do. So they spoke, Joe Rogan and J.D. Vance. They talked about the importance of voter ID, of securing the elections, and how dumb it is that the Democrats say it's racist to demand voter ID. It's not racist, and everybody knows it, including the Democrats. Now, remember, again, they'll tell you that there's no widespread voter fraud. Nobody ever actually defines what that means. I've always said that a few specific counties in a few specific swing states is all you need to move a nationwide election, right? Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Battle Creek, Michigan, Wisconsin, right around the La Crosse area, and Kenosha and Racine. These are all regions or areas in our country where elections can go either way. So you infuse a bunch of ballots into those specific districts, that'll swing that district, that'll swing that state, and that'll swing an election. And that could change the course of history. It is 6:23. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, Dan, at the 6 o'clock news, guns are now allowed in public parks in one mid-state city. So we'll bring to you what people are saying about that change coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah, I know what time it is. I really do.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, the funny thing is, Joan, I caught both you and Sam sleeping. And I know that I did it really quick. It's like, hey, let's say, what Joan, what's happening in the news?
Yeah.
And it's like, you take a second to respond. Sam doesn't hit the sounder. It's like we do this every day at the same time. Every hour. I know, it's surprising.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, coming up, Joan, I'm gonna want you and Sam to participate in the next segment I've got coming up at 6:35. We're gonna talk about that numbnuts in Memphis that owns the pizza joint.
Yeah.
This guy, I've got the audio. This guy's comments are so incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it because he's being clearly irrational, not serving the 4 National Guardsmen. So we're going to talk about that coming up at 6:35 or so on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. And yeah, indeed, I do agree the times are tough. So if you need a new car, if you need a truck, you need a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection and terrific pricing as well. They've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. Now, right now, you can save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks when you go through my friends at Mid-10 Ford. They also, by the way, offer special financing as well if you need it. Mid-10 Ford is a one-stop shop for all things your next vehicle. You can buy it there. You can get it serviced. They've got a body shop too. Brand new or pre-owned vehicles. You can check out all the great deals at mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service, and great financing options as well. Now, this is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. They know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next car, truck, or SUV. Stop by. They've got an address of 1319 Foster Avenue, Mid-10 Ford, 1319 Foster Avenue. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-949-2737. 615-949-2737. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. You can actually start your shopping process there at the website, mid10fordtrucks.com. Also, check out their Facebook and Instagram, Mid-10 Ford, where trust comes first. Dan Mandis here. So many people, maybe even you, are living with cataracts and don't even realize how much it is impacting your everyday life. Now, the good news is the fix is quick. It all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. This is where I went for my vision correction procedure. So if you have been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights, colors, maybe they just don't seem as bright as they once did, those are all signs of cataracts. And for a lot of people, driving even becomes difficult and even dangerous, especially at night. Some people even experience double vision in one eye, and that's not something that you've got to live with. Cataract surgery today, it is fast, it is painless, and the results can be truly life-changing. So don't wait. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Dr. Horn and Vision for Life, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com to schedule your cataract evaluation with Dr. Horn today and find out if you qualify. 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com, and start seeing clearly again. Dan Mandis here from Mark Spain Real Estate. If you're stuck in a home that you cannot sell, call Mark Spain. You're not alone. A lot of people are in this situation as well. The real estate market has shifted. It has changed, and homes are not selling quite as fast. Mark Spain Real Estate, they can help you. So if your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your home goes unsold, call Mark Spain. Their guaranteed offer does keep you in control. You're going to get the most out of your home. You're going to be able to move fast and with maximum profit. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72,000 clients. They are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. 13,000 five-star reviews. Cannot be wrong. Mark Spain Real Estate is the company that I recommend for selling your home. So call them right now and get out of your home fast and move on to the next chapter in your life. 855-299-SOLD is the phone number, 855-299-SOLD, or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Good morning. It's 6:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got your forecast and traffic coming up here in 5 minutes. The U.S. intensified its strikes targeting Iran early this morning, hitting targets further north now as American forces also fired onto a ship accused of trying to break its naval blockade on the Islamic Republic. Iran retaliated with missile and drone fire targeting Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait. It said its attacks may escalate. Meantime, Iran has released American citizen Dina Karari. She had been held in Iran since December of 2024 during the waning days of the Biden administration. President Trump calling today's developments a goodwill gesture on behalf of Iran. In Smyrna, it's now legal to bring a handgun into a public park. Channel 4's Steve Malin.
It isn't often she's felt in danger, but that may change.
I think it was going to make me a little more hypervigilant.
Teresa's reacting to a new law in Smyrna, approved Tuesday night, that will now allow guns to be brought into public parks.
Honestly, I'm conflicted about it. I'm not a gun owner myself, but my grown sons are, and they carry them for protection. So I don't know what to say other than it kind of makes me feel a little bit safer, I guess.
The council made the change after Hughes v. State in Gibson County Chancery Court earlier this year, a ruling that found banning guns in parks unconstitutional.
Now, Smyrna became one of the first mid-state cities to adopt that new standard. Got a heads up if you're traveling on I-65 north at the I-440 exit today. You'll remember that's where a tractor trailer crashed into a big roadway sign stanchion during the winter storm in January, and it brought that sign down onto the roadway. Well, TDOT says there will be some delays between 8 o'clock tonight and 5 o'clock tomorrow morning while they install a new sign. You can expect rolling roadblocks at Harding Place to the I-440 split. Some northbound ramps will also be closed. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
You see people that look perfectly healthy only to suddenly have serious heart problems. You know, I see it all the time, and it always makes me think of what could be ahead for me. That's why I appreciate what Kraft Body Scan does. Now, they scan your body to make sure that nothing bad is going on, inside. Their state-of-the-art technology can find the smallest irregularities months or even years before you feel symptoms of heart disease or cancer. It is better to know than it is to hope. My dad, many years ago, thought everything was okay, and it wasn't. That happens to a lot of people, thinking, I feel great, so I must be fine, right? Wrong. Now, sadly, my dad passed away at an early age, and it's something that I think about all the time. Now, at Kraft Body Scan, their scans are quick, non-invasive, and you're going to walk out with real answers. It is fast, easy, and it can give you real peace of mind or an early heads up before symptoms ever show up. And right now, Kraft Body Scan is offering our listeners their couples heart and lung scan, valued at over $2,500 for just $99. To take advantage of it, just go to togetherwescan.com or call them 615-436-1000 and use promo code DAN50. That's promo code DAN50. This summer, don't just hope everything's okay. Know that you're okay with Kraft Body Scan. Again, that's togetherwescan.com, 615-436-1000 with promo code DAN50.
They're working on a crash site on Lebanon Pike eastbound past Briley Parkway in Donaldson this morning. Drivers are saying it's still there. Also, looks like there is a problem on northbound 65 that just disappeared from the screen. Well, it looks very slow this morning as you're traveling on 65, right at the merge with 24 as you're coming into the city from the north. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six 6:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN programming alert. Don't forget, Matt Murphy and I will be out at Contours this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is an open house where you can check out the red light therapy or the red light technology that we both have been talking about. You can meet us. You can talk to the staffers there, talk to some clients as well who have seen results. Find out how body contouring with red light technology can help you. Details at contoursllc.com. Hope to see you there. So Joan was just reporting in one of the previous newscasts, this restaurant out in Memphis is called Tamboli's. Guy's name is Miles Tamboli, and he thought that it would be a good idea to refuse service to 4 National Guard members. This is out of Memphis Television.
Miles Tamboli said that the Memphis Safe Task Force's presence in Memphis has made it harder to live in Memphis. He also says, like you said, he stands behind his decision to deny them service. But he said his protest was not against the actual people, but against the Memphis Safe Task Force actually being here in Memphis.
So I'm calling BS on that because clearly you refuse to serve these 4 from the Tennessee National Guard. They were sitting at your table or they walked into your restaurant and you deliberately did not serve them. So it is about these 4 and it is about the National Guard by and large. So part of what happened is when this happened, the whole thing, Joan, you were talking about this earlier, the whole thing, it just went viral and it absolutely blew up and people were just skewering them online. And apparently it was so bad that they had to close their doors for a couple of days. Now, here's what's crazy, is that they're saying that the National Guard is making it harder to live in Memphis. But these folks are located, the Tambolis, they're located on Madison Avenue in Midtown Memphis. I looked this up. Madison Avenue in Midtown Memphis, a place where the crime rate, wait for it, is higher than the national average. Total crime, 4 times higher than the national average. Violent crime, 8 times higher than the national average. Property crime, 4 times higher than the national average on Madison Avenue in Midtown Memphis, where Tamboli's is located. In other words, please tell me how it is that the National Guard, in fighting that crime, is making it harder to live in Memphis. They're not.
I can tell you what he said in his statement. Did
Go
you read
ahead,
the statement? Yeah. Okay. He said, first of all, he said crime was at a 25-year low through the first 8 months of 2025. So what he's suggesting is that the Memphis Safe Task Force it was just the cherry on top. It really didn't help.
Well,
okay?
so
first things first.
So my answer to that is maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But Memphis was still far higher than the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So it may have been at a 25. I'm going to put that in air quotes, Joan.
Yeah.
It may have been at a 25-year low for, like by Memphis standards. But from a national standpoint, it was still really dangerous and far higher than the national average.
So he also says what the task force has actually done is make the city harder to live in. You quoted that already. Its own records show that overwhelming majority of its arrests began with routine traffic stops, not violent crime. Families in the city are now afraid to drive to work, afraid to take their kids to school, afraid to be seen. Our own schools reported fear drove children to stop showing up to class.
Actually, no. Joan, this is really easy. No, the children were not showing up to class because children are not showing up for class in Shelby County or Memphis schools, which is why the state took it over.
Yeah.
Somebody might want to tell Pizza Head Tamboli here, whatever the hell his name is, Miles Tamboli. Somebody might want to tell, let's call him Sausage Head. Anyway.
Ooh, I like that.
Meathead. That's what we could call him. So the kids not going to school in Memphis was not because of the task force. The problem with absenteeism in Memphis schools has been going on for a long time. And, we could always, of course, talk about the success that the National Guard has had. But I think that this was a very stupid decision on his part. So when the story came out, people lost their minds on the socials. But this guy, Meathead, just didn't really seem to care.
The owner, Miles Tamboli, stood behind his refusal to serve them, saying in part, quote, "I love this country and I love this city, and that is exactly why I made this call." He goes on to say what the task force has actually done is make this city harder to live in, end quote. Those opposing his stance gathered in Tamboli's comment section, but there were others supporting online and in person.
I'd like to support them and because they're standing up to this unlawful occupation of Memphis, I would say.
Many of the people I spoke with wanted to stay anonymous, but said supporting businesses who shared their values is important.
A business has a right to refuse or provide service to whoever they wish. And we're in support of the Memphis community as a whole. And this is a great restaurant. And we just feel like it's our job to support the things that we think.
It's funny. I keep hearing these people saying they support the community and all of this, but it makes no sense because Memphis has been so dangerous. I mean, their opinions actually seem dangerous and irrational. I mean, if you like gunfire, murder, property crime and assaults, then bash the National Guard. But do you know what I wish, Joan? I wish somebody, when I hear these comments where they say this is unlawful occupation, I wish somebody would ask these people, okay, so first of all, it's not. I mean, the whole thing is perfectly legal. That's number one. But number two, okay, well, you don't seem to be all that concerned about the unlawfulness of murder and rape and assaults that have been happening in Memphis for years. The one thing that you are concerned about, this, air quoting, illegal occupation, is not actually illegal. It just doesn't make any sense. And as I said, it is actually irrational. This is more from this report, this TV report in Memphis.
Tamboli said a group of businesses are taking a, quote, public commitment to stand against the military policing of our streets, an act of patriotism, end quote.
Whatever. By the way, just the latest news in the last few days, a missing 14-year-old girl was rescued from a drug-filled motel room, a victim of child trafficking. That man is among the roughly 10,600 people who have been arrested in its 9 months of operation by the National Guard and the mix of state and federal authorities. You'd also think that more people would be coming out at night and going to restaurants like Tamboli's and feel safer doing it. Because we've heard the stories, and I've played the audio many, many times of people that were like, "Oh man, this is great. I love this. I can actually go out at night." And, part of the Make Memphis Matter again with State Senator Brent Taylor. We talked to him yesterday about the great success of going out to restaurants like Tamboli's because people are not afraid to go out anymore. So these people are just so incredibly irrational. It is Yes, Joe.
Oh, so there's just one other thing. The story following that I did earlier is that it's been such a success, that task force, that the TBI is establishing a new statewide task force. They're hiring 32 new agents. Some of them will stay in Memphis, but most of them will spread out across the state of Tennessee, and where there are places with hotspots of, crime that need to be solved, and especially violent crime, the task force is going to zero in on that area and do the same thing as they've been doing in Memphis because it's been such a success.
Absolutely love it. Thank you, Joan. 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Very good. At 6:46, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Got some dense fog happening, particularly among the Cumberland Plateau. Possible storms this afternoon with a high around 90. So, big question. Is Tennessee courting Paramount, the big media company, to move to our fair state? That answer is yes, according to the Hollywood Reporter. So this guy, David Ellison, he's the guy, I guess he's the CEO, founder of Paramount and so forth. Remember that Paramount, they're trying to take over Warner Brothers Discovery. That takeover is worth $111 billion. Well, they're based right now in California. And California is trying to block that deal, trying to block that merger. So that has angered Paramount. And so now we are trying to swoop in and tell Paramount, Tennessee doesn't have all of this regulatory BS that California does. Come here, they said in a letter to the company. Here's what we wrote. Our success in Tennessee is rooted in fiscal discipline, low taxes, predictable governance, and a steadfast belief that government should be a partner in private sector growth, stated the letter. Companies that choose Tennessee find more than a favorable business climate. They find a state committed to helping them succeed. The letter continues. As Paramount Skydance writes its next chapter, Tennessee offers a compelling proposition, a state where creativity and technology converge, where talent is developed intentionally, and where innovation is embraced, Stuart McWhorter writes. We would welcome the opportunity to share our vision for how Tennessee could help shape the future of Paramount Skydance and its talented team. Ellison and his family have deep ties to Tennessee, where he lived on and off for 11 years, from 2014 to 2025. He sold his home in the state of Tennessee after Paramount's bid to acquire Skydance closed. Do you know who David Ellison's father is? Larry Ellison, the guy who co-founded Oracle. Now, we all know that that deal, of course, came here to Middle Tennessee, their world headquarters here to Nashville. So Nashville is targeting, this is really smart. And a lot of people, I know you hate this. But what Nashville is doing from a strategic standpoint is actually really smart. Nashville is targeting David Ellison, who owns Paramount, after convincing his father, Larry Ellison, to move the Oracle headquarters to Middle Tennessee. So the Hollywood Reporter is now saying that everything is on the table. We're talking about corporate offices, production offices, not sure about actual studios and sound stages. Apparently, we've got a long way to go with that. There's not a lot of actual production facilities here. There's some, don't get me wrong. But we're no Georgia. Can you name, Joan? Well, probably Sam would be better at this. No offense, Joan. You know what has been filmed in Georgia? You've got Avengers Endgame, Black Panther, Stranger Things, Ozark, and Walking Dead, among many others. Georgia, and you know how they did this, though, and this is where people lose their minds. Georgia did it through tax incentives and trying to purposely develop an industry. And so Georgia went out and they did everything they could to try to go out and earn and recruit the show business and making movies and all that, because they saw that California was regulating the entertainment industry out of existence. That's why you have all of these showbiz companies and production companies moving to Canada and moving to Georgia. There's a long list of production companies. I didn't write them down, but there's a long list of really, large production companies that just packed up and left LA and moved to Georgia. So
Do you know who makes movies in Georgia?
Who?
The Kendrick brothers. Do you know who they are? The Christian films?
No.
Fireproof and Facing the Giants and Courageous, Set Free. All those movies filmed right there in Georgia.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's been a slow shift for a while, and it's kind of picked up in the last 10 years. My childhood best friend is an executive for Regal Theaters out in Knoxville, which, if you didn't know, the headquarters for Regal, Knoxville, Tennessee. And so what he does is he screens movies and puts them in his area of theaters, and Atlanta has just exploded.
Yeah.
They've had to, I think in the last few years, they've had to build a new theater, and it's, you've got that in LA. You've got the storied theaters that have made premieres, famous for quite a while, but people don't understand how far back it goes. It's not just like the last 5 years. Zombieland, Kong Skull Island, Passengers, The Accountant, Hidden Figures, Captain America's Civil War, Guardian of the Galaxy's Volume 2, Jumanji 1 and 2 of the new movies, Spider-Man. I mean, it has been a Baby Driver, The Hunger Games.
All right, hold on. Look up,
going.
so since you're clearly Googling or AIing or chat GPTing, what is the total revenue that Georgia gets from the movie making production industry? I would like to know, because what Georgia does, I'm assuming that what Georgia does, because they say that they have developed and courted this business, which means things like, tax incentives and that kind of thing. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are listening now that are going to be saying, no to Paramount, hate corporate welfare and all that kind of stuff. Well, Georgia's been doing this for a long time, and I would be willing to bet that Georgia makes, how much, Sam?
All right. It just says multi-billion. Exact total is not
multi-billions of dollars by cultivating and developing this business intentionally.
And the tens of thousands of jobs, both direct and indirect, meaning not just the company hiring set production people, but when they have to contract, hey, we need trucks to move this stuff. We need porta potties for this shoot that we're doing this week.
People get to be zombies in Walking Dead.
So here's what
I wanted to be a zombie.
People have this issue. Georgia offers up to 30% transferable tax credit with no cap. So it reduces the state tax revenue, but the incoming spending, this is more about getting the businesses here than it is about taxing them.
It's about investment. Money. That's what I keep saying over and over again. I think I'm the only... People have spewed such hate at me because I thought the Starbucks deal was a good deal. It is all about investing to get that business into a state so that we can bring in that additional revenue. I know picking winners and losers, corporate wealth. I know all the talking points, and you have very good points. The point that I'm making is that while you have a good point, you could also see this kind of success, which is what Georgia's getting, which is billions and billions and billions of dollars in jobs every single year over the long term by cultivating this line of business.
The way they frame it with the numbers, since it's not so much on the tax revenue and it's more about what's being put into the economy, just in 2024, the direct spending by production companies in the state of Georgia was $2.6 billion.
Yeah.
They spent $2.6 billion paying people to do things. And
that is good for the people of Georgia.
And they may not be paying the highest tax percentage that they could, but it's good for the people of Georgia, and it's good for the people of Georgia long term.
So now that we've done all this, let's do a Daily Dan poll. Hey, Joan, watch this. Let's do a Daily Dan poll.
Oh, boy.
Should Tennessee try to court Paramount Skydance to come to Middle Tennessee? You figure out how to word it. I'm terrible at wording things. But, and I guarantee you, Joan, that it's going to be 100 to none. Nobody wants it here. And I understand. Look, I understand.
Use the word attract.
Attract. And because people, they're going to say, these are going to be a bunch of California jobs, a bunch of California fruitcakes, and a bunch of liberals and all. I get it. But there's going to be a lot of people already here in Tennessee that will benefit from this kind of a situation as well. All this to say, we have no idea what the deal would be. I mean, because we don't have studios right now to actually film. We have some. But, we would have to get up to Georgia standards to be able to, get there, but you've got to start somewhere.
Well,
and a
luckily-
partnership with Paramount Skydance would be huge.
Luckily, it's such a beautiful state that when it comes to natural scenes and natural shot selection of landscapes and stuff, the choices are endless.
Yeah, absolutely.
1633. Good morning. Please keep that Hollywood crap out of here. There's no amount of money worth bringing that stuff to Middle Tennessee. It'll only end in disaster. It'll bring more liberals here to work. No, thank you. Hardcore. Thank you. No, thank you. Pass. Hardcore. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. And I'm not discounting people that feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I totally get it. All I'm saying is that, number one, if somebody doesn't want to move here, they don't have to move here. And remember, David Ellison lived here for 11 years. That was part of the story that I just presented. So anyway, we'll keep you updated on the 100-0 poll that we're putting up on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, 997WTN.com, Rumble, and anywhere else you can stream. But take the poll on Facebook, the Daily Dan poll, and
it's 50-50 right now.
Is it really 50-50?
Yeah, people are divided.
Wow.
Guess we hyped up how much money being injected into the local economy would.
I'm telling you what, man. I'm telling you what. All right, very good. 6:57. Joan's got the news at 7. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, we'll tell you about the outrageous question asked of Attorney General Todd Blanche during his confirmation hearings yesterday. That's coming up at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. It is 6:58. Dan Mandis here. Contours. Listen, summertime, man. It feels great to be outside. And, maybe you bought some new clothes, but you also might feel that same old discomfort when it comes to selfies and vacation photos and the like. We call that photo fear. Contours can actually help you with that. The Contours red light treatments, they can help tighten your skin and melt that stubborn fat. Fast, without surgery, without complications, without pain, and really no downtime. Now, red light technology is all the rage these days because it works. Contours is on the leading edge of it. So you can restore your confidence and become photo ready with Contours LLC. Now, right now, they've got a special deal, a great deal going on right now. $99 gets you a belly buster special. For just $149, by the way, you can get a belly buster special and a facial, both featuring FDA-cleared red light technology. Now, in that first belly buster special treatment, you lose 2 inches or it is free. That goes to the first 10 callers right now. You've got to call, though, right now. 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. Also, don't forget, Matt Murphy and I will be hosting an open house at Contours coming up this Saturday. Stop by to learn more about red light technology. You can see the facility, win free treatments and packages, and a whole lot more. Plus, you can meet Matt and I. You can meet the pros that can help you look great and feel more confident. Let us know you're stopping by. Go to ContoursLLC.com or call them 615-236-9960.
Good morning. It is now 7:02, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The father of missing teenager Sebastian Rogers has filed 2 federal lawsuits. WSMV4 reporting one is against the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the other against the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. The lawsuits accuse the agencies of failing his son.
I don't think they put any effort in finding my son anymore. It says a lot when they won't speak to me. To me, it says that they know that they screwed the pooch.
It's been nearly 2.5 years since the 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared without a trace from his Hendersonville home. Now, his father, Seth, who did not have custody of him, says that in his lawsuit that the sheriff's investigation was inadequate and it was abandoned. On Capitol Hill, President Trump's Attorney General nominee, Todd Blanche, faced a Senate confirmation hearing with some wild questions coming from Democrat senators.
How long do you intend to put up with that Kash Patel character? Are you good with his airplane jaunts? Are you confident he's not drinking on the job? Are you sure none of his travel is a pretext for vacation activities like snorkeling, Olympics, and visiting girlfriends? Are you sure he knows what he's doing? Do you vouch for him? Are you willing to look at whether he lied to this committee?
That's an extraordinarily obnoxious question, Senator, and I have full faith in Director Patel and the work that he's doing every day.
The questioning there from Democrat Senator Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island. The National Transportation Safety Board releasing preliminary results of its probe into a fatal crash involving a Tesla last month in the Houston area.
Michael Butler's Tesla Model 3 was doing an estimated 70 miles per hour, and a doorbell camera captured the result. Butler reportedly told police that his car was in full self-driving mode, but the NTSB says Butler deactivated the feature by fully depressing the accelerator and slamming into the side of a home in Katy, Texas. 76-year-old resident Martha Avila was killed.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Some business news this morning. Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC says it's investing another $100 billion to expand its Arizona production plant. That's where it produces chips that are designed by companies like NVIDIA and Apple. It brings the company's total commitment in the U.S. to $265 billion. And that's a big boost for President Trump's drive to bring more advanced manufacturing into the U.S. Stock futures mixed. The Dow futures plus 75, but the NASDAQ futures minus 268 right now. The S&P futures are down 20. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. There is an accident on the South Loop area, I-40 eastbound at 4th Avenue. That's exit 210C. Drivers say that it looks like the crash is at the bottom of the off-ramp. In Nashville, a crash at Haywood Lane and East Ridge Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.708 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well and welcome on into a Thursday, July 16th. Lots of conversation going on, especially on the Super Text line. We were talking earlier in the previous segment, just real quickly, about whether or not it was the right thing to do for the Lee administration to try to convince Paramount Skydance to move some of their operation to Middle Tennessee. And it has spurred a lot of conversation, as you can imagine. We did do a Daily Dan poll just very quickly. What is the Daily Dan poll on YouTube? What are people saying?
Man, should Tennessee attract Paramount/Skydance to move here? 52% say no, while 48% are saying yes. So it's getting kind of
I'm
deadlocked.
surprised.
Yeah, we're inching up on triple digits on votes.
So 1633 says this. And listen, y'all know that I do not run away from criticism. I tend to lean into it for some weird, bizarre reason. 1633 says, Dan, you sound horrible right now. You sound like a greedy person who only cares about money, and that's what it gets boiled down to. It sounds like you're only concerned about money. What about changing Middle Tennessee? He says, you don't think there'll be repercussions from bringing all that stuff here. It's no longer going to be the wonderful Middle Tennessee that we get to live in. If it was so wonderful, we would all live down in Georgia. He says, nobody wants to live in Georgia. 1633, Georgia is on the list of states that has seen a massive amount of people moving to the state. They're up 13.4%, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, people do want to live in Georgia. But can I just say this, and then I will move on? People need jobs, and particularly the younger generation need jobs. And so if I sound like I only care about money and I sound like I'm greedy, actually, no. Like, I've got a gig, and it's a pretty good one. But I'm concerned about people like Sam. And I'm concerned about people like your sons and your daughters who are young adults, and they cannot find a frickin' job. That's what I'm concerned about. So I'm not greedy at all. And I'm sorry that if you, 1633, believe that I sound horrible, but it's exactly the opposite. I want people to be able to find work. And right now, there's a lot of young people who cannot find work. And so here in Tennessee, we need to be able to put our people to work, especially the younger people. And that's why Bill Lee has done a great job, and Governor Haslam before him, on specifically the Tennessee Promise and getting our state involved, the younger generation and people who graduate high school here in our state, and learning the trades. I think that is something that has been really good for the state of Tennessee. And if I recall, a lot of people were against the Tennessee Promise. Do you know how many jobs we've talked about it before. Do you know how many people the Tennessee Promise were, again, not to belabor the point, but if you graduate from Tennessee high school, I may be missing some of the details, but then you get to go to a trade school or a junior college for free to learn a trade. A lot of people were against that. I thought it was a great idea. Many people now have jobs because of the Tennessee Promise. I'm all about doing what we can to put people to work. It's not about my greed. It's about trying to help others and give others a hand up.
More than 150,000 students have been supported in that program since it began in 2014. I was actually a senior in high school, and it missed us by a year. It was supposed to apply to my class leaving in 2014. I don't think it really went into effect until 2015. But essentially, just graduating from any school in Tennessee allowed you, like you said, the 2 years at a community college or a technical program. And then there were schools that had expanded programs. Stratford High School, I don't know if it's still connected, they had an expanded program where if you graduated with a certain GPA and a certain attendance record, you got a full scholarship to UT in Knoxville.
That's crazy.
And so we
Love
have
that.
all of these programs built in that some people don't know about or aren't taking advantage of to help bring the standards and what would be considered entry-level positions when you graduate college, bring them up so that when people come out, they're able to make more money.
It's exactly right. And then they stay here in Tennessee. They help our economy thrive and so forth. Hey, by the way, just real quick, since we're talking about like movies and stuff, Joan and Sam.
Yeah.
What do you believe has been decided or named whatever as the best movie of all time? What movie has been designated as
Gone
the
with
best
the Wind.
movie of all time? Joan says Gone with the Wind. Great choice. Sam?
Casablanca.
No. You're both wrong. The Godfather.
Ooh.
What?
But part 2's better than the first one.
One of the most endearing films of the 20th century has once again taken the top spot. The Godfather. 1972. I've never seen The Godfather, by the way.
What?
You what?
No, I never have. Never have.
All right, well,
I don't.
know what
Can
you're
I
doing
just say
weekend.
this? I don't like violent movies. And
Listen, you come to me.
Yeah, I know.
On the day my daughter's supposed to
The
be
horse
married.
head in the bed, the whole thing. Now, I have seen the horse head scene. It's been ranked the best movie of all time by Rotten Tomatoes. The iconic film currently holds an impressive 97% score on the popular movie rating site, further cementing its reputation as one of the greatest achievements in film history. Will you look up, find that? Let's do that at 8:35. I want to do the Rotten Tomatoes rankings of the best movies of all time. Because I, of course, would say that it would be Star Wars. Or one of my all-time favorites, War of the Gargantuas. But nobody seems to agree with me on the greatness of War of the Gargantuas, and so we'll move on from there.
Huh.
What?
I mean, we're saving it for 8:35, but it's just...
Well, just go ahead. We only got 4 minutes left.
All right, so The Godfather, as you said.
Yep.
The Seven Samurai. Casablanca at number 3. Rear Window at number 4. L.A. Confidential, number 5. Parasite, number 6. That movie is grossly overrated. Schindler's List. Citizen Kane. The Godfather Part 2, somehow at number 9. And Pulp Fiction, number 10.
What a piece of crap
Hang
movie
on.
Pulp Fiction
Gone
is.
with the Wind is not on that list.
No.
Joan's going to break out the pocket knife.
I am.
You just-
Somebody's tires are getting. Bring him here. Bring him here to Georgia. I'll get him.
We're in Tennessee, Joan.
Oh. Close
Anyway.
enough. We're a little closer.
You know what? Joan will travel
Yeah.
cross state lines to slash your tires
Have
because
knife,
Gone with the Wind is
will
not
travel.
on it.
Other notables include The Dark Knight, Goodfellas, 12 Angry Men, Singing in the Rain, and It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. I got that.
Okay, so where is Gone with the Wind?
Not
is it on the list anywhere?
Not anywhere.
No.
I don't know if I've ever seen Gone with the Wind, be honest with you. Like a lot of these movies
read the
I have not
book.
seen.
You.
What's that, Sam?
I read the book.
Yeah.
It was like a requirement freshman year, just
Yeah.
torture.
Why? Why is that torture?
Because
Historic.
it's bigger than the Bible.
Oh,
Okay.
it's long, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like the movie is like 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And the book is like, 3 years long to read if you read a page at a time like I do.
The Green Mile.
The Green Mile. Somebody asked
Should be
about
on
that.
there.
Yeah.
What, are you a nerd, Dan? Somebody says, am I a nerd? I don't know.
How about oh my goodness.
Where is Star Wars on this stupid list?
Star Wars does not make the 10 best movies of all time, but this list could change. I don't know if you saw the critic score has been released for Nolan's The Odyssey. That features the Black Helen of Troy, a woman playing a male soldier in the Trojan Army, and Ellen Page. And then the fact that they're using standard American English as the dialogue in the film absolutely sends me. But it somehow gets a 98 from the tomato meter.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Is The Wizard of Oz on the list?
Tomato meter.
Nope.
I mean, that was...
Well, Joan.
The colorization of that movie was, like historic.
There are separate lists for the best of the 21st and the best of the 20th century.
I think Wizard of Oz isn't on there because they're mad at the abuse of the little people. and I do you remember when this was actually a controversy, Joan?
Yeah.
Where it was like all of a sudden, Wizard of Oz was a bad movie because you had all these little munchkins. I don't know what you call them.
They were munchkins.
They're the midgets, whatever. And people were like saying that it was a bad thing. And I'm like, well, okay, where else are they going to get work in acting?
They're called vertically challenged.
Okay, vertically challenged. Whatever. Like I didn't understand what the big deal was. They chose to work. It wasn't like slave labor. They chose to come to work and then sing and dance and whatever it is that they did in that movie.
And then Peter Dinklage said something about how they only get cast for those kind of roles. And there was like a 5-year period that no one was hiring them. And so the dwarf acting community was like starting to speak out and calling him, not everyone's a Peter Dinklage. We all need these extra roles or whatever, which is how we ended up with a woke Snow White featuring full-grown weirdos.
Right.
As opposed to actual dwarfs.
Peter Dinklage, by the way, a great actor.
He's an angry elf, I hear.
Yes.
Do you know every time Amy gets mad, do you know what I say to her?
You're an angry little elf.
I do. I say that to Amy all the time, yet she's like 2 inches taller than me.
Does she ever hop up on the table and run across to beat you up?
Only if I ask her real nice.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Joan is very silent on that. I'm kidding.
I'm wondering about... I know we've talked about the Wicked Witch thing before.
Oh, no. No. We're not going down that road.
No?
No, we're not going down that road.
Click your heels together, Dorothy.
Now, if I click my heels together.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right, we got to go. So just real quick. So Star Wars is where on the list?
It's not on the list.
It's not.
It's not anywhere on the list.
I'll give it
Okay,
this.
so can I just say, this is a bunch of uppity people. That's what this is. There's a bunch of uppity people who are like, oh, I want to eat my whatever and drink my tea with my pinky out and watch these very important movies. Some of those movies, I bet you they suck.
It's like the Academy always nominating, a French film that nobody's ever heard of.
Yes.
For an Academy Award.
Right.
And I'll agree that Star Wars deserves some recognition. I am a Star Wars fan. I don't scoff at Dan's suggestion, but it was a technological novel at the time when it came out in 1977. It deserves credit for that alone.
It was groundbreaking, Sam.
Yes. People thought, you have all those miniatures in your basement, George. You're kind of a loser. And you just wait till I get a camera in front of him.
Wait till we get to post-production. It'll be great, right? I mean, that's what George Lucas did.
Yeah, and they turned miniatures into a feature-length film, and it was amazing.
There's another woke movie that is out right now that was, I don't know what we kind of stumbled into this, but there's a movie out right now that is one of these like woke remakes, and Young Washington beat it on the box office charts thing. And like for a lot of conservatives, we're like right on, something of substance like Young Washington, which by the way is on my list of things to do this weekend.
After The Godfather.
Oh yeah, me too.
After The Godfather.
No, I'm not watching The Godfather. I'm not watching it. I'm
Can't
not
wait to see that movie.
I'm not watching The Godfather. I'm not. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, Sam, I'm not watching The Godfather.
You're going to disrespect my family.
Yeah, that's fine. Feel disrespected. I don't care. All right, we got to go. 7:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan has the news coming up at 7:30, Joan.
Yeah, got enough testosterone? We'll tell you what U.S. soldiers are facing when they get their annual physicals. Those stories and more coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
723 on Super Talk 99.7. The Covered Patio. Listen, my friends at the Covered Patio, they want to help you upgrade or build a great outdoor patio or deck. You know, warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. If you want more living space on your home, you want to add more living space, think about building or upgrading your patio. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. They've got a ton of outdoor living options at the Covered Patio. They've got motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures as well. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget, including yours. The Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to the Covered Patio, 615-695-2407. As always, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-695-2407. Online, thecoveredpatio.com. You see people that look perfectly healthy only to suddenly have serious heart problems. You know, I see it all the time, and it always makes me think of what could be ahead for me. That's why I appreciate what Kraft Body Scan does. Now, they scan your body to make sure that nothing bad is going on, you know, inside. Their state-of-the-art technology can find the smallest irregularities months or even years before you feel symptoms of heart disease or cancer. You know, it is better to know than it is to hope. You know, my dad, many years ago, thought everything was okay, and it wasn't. That happens to a lot of people, thinking, I feel great, so I must be fine, right? Wrong. Now, sadly, my dad passed away at an early age, and it's something that I think about all the time. Now, at Kraft Body Scan, their scans are quick, non-invasive, and you're going to walk out with real answers. It is fast, easy, and it can give you real peace of mind or an early heads up before symptoms ever show up. And right now, Kraft Body Scan is offering our listeners their couples heart and lung scan, valued at over $2,500 for just $99. To take advantage of it, just go to togetherwescan.com or call them 615-436-1000 and use promo code DAN50. That's promo code DAN50. This summer, don't just hope everything's okay. Know that you're okay with Kraft Body Scan. Again, that's togetherwescan.com, 615-436-1000 with promo code DAN50. 729, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Coming up, J.D. Vance calling out Israel and the Trump administration on the Joe Rogan Show. I've got details and video coming up. By the way, Joan, speaking of video,
Yeah.
we've got a bit of a revolt happening on Super Talk TV. So they've got this new "We'll Be Right Back" feature.
Yeah.
And apparently people don't like it for a number of different reasons. Sam?
Not enough Dan.
See, that's what I find interesting. People are saying that they got like this rotating thing where they show all some of the personalities, and I'm barely in it.
And it's also from a podcast snippet. It's not even from an on-air episode.
Yeah, it's from like a podcast snippet, and I'm sharing the screen with Murphy. Meantime, it lingers on Weaver for like 8 seconds. It's like, can I borrow some of Ken's time? So people are saying there's not enough Mandis. Whatever. I really don't care about that. And what's the other thing people are complaining about?
It's jumping around and flashing really quick, and so we have let our creative director know that. He's going to work on it, going to get a revised version. His exact text to me said, "Got that. Can do, less jumpy, more dangerous."
Yeah,
I said, wait, more dangerous.
Dangerous is what it... Anyway, yeah, because, I mean, if you got it, like, all flashy, and you could send somebody, like, into a seizure. Like, I was looking at it this morning, and by the way, I love what the creative director is doing. I love that we're doing something with We'll Be Right Back, because,
1513, this video S has got to effing go.
All right, so if you want to go see it before, and I am on record as saying I like the direction they're going, but go check out Super Talk TV right now before they take it down, and before Chris Hand shows up, because I want my numbers to beat his today. All right, Joan Jones on the news coming up right now.
Good morning. It's 7:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got your forecast and traffic still to come. A former Montgomery County teacher arrested for showing a nude photo of himself to a female teenage student. His arrest, though, comes months after the incident happened on March 9th. The girl's parents telling WSMV4 that the teacher, Matthew Vetter, claimed it was just an accident.
Like your grandparents used to tell you, where there's smoke, there's fire. And we knew that there was a fire there. She believes she stood up for what was right, and that moving forward, there won't be more victims from him, at school at least, because she spoke up and had a backbone.
After the incident, Clarksville Montgomery County Schools just reassigned Vetter. Later on, he resigned, though. His wife is Jean Luna Vetter. She continues to be employed as the superintendent of the schools. A Nashville man's facing charges after allegedly stealing a car with a 1-year-old inside. The mother had been making a food delivery on 21st Avenue South near Scarrett Place when she left the vehicle running with the child in the back seat. The car was found later abandoned and the child was still inside. Officers later found 43-year-old Joshua Melton. He had been wearing the same clothing seen in surveillance footage of that incident. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, announcing that service members who are 30 years and older are going to receive annual testosterone screenings now as part of their routine health assessments. And those who are diagnosed with a deficiency will have an option.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is rolling out a new program to screen troops for low testosterone.
Ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
The test will be part of annual health screenings for troops 30 and older. Younger troops can volunteer to be tested. Any treatment would be up to the individual soldier.
That's ABC's Sophie Flay. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got an accident on 24 eastbound and East Bank. It's on the right shoulder at Spring Street, Ellington Parkway. Also West End, Charlotte Avenue at 28th. That's the scene of an accident. One on 24 eastbound in Jolton, past Whites Creek Pike, and a crash on the South Loop 40 eastbound. The off-ramp to 4th Avenue, the left lane of that ramp also blocked off. Glencliff, Thompson Lane, southbound before South Lake Drive. Watch for a crash there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't want to go on and on about this, but
you're gonna.
Jason says, let's see, hold on. I want to make sure I get the right one. Well, Dan, Chris continues to do a live broadcast during the commercial breaks on YouTube. I used to do that as well, and people didn't like it. I don't know why they didn't like it, but they didn't like it, which was baffling to me.
And Chris really does it when he's got a clip that he can't play on the airwaves
Right.
due to FCC regulations.
That's exactly right. Another guy says, well, Dan, if you would quit kissing Marsha's arse, you would blow Hans' ratings out of the water.
Oh, man.
When have you done that?
Can somebody please tell me when I kissed Marsha's arse?
No.
I mean, I treated everybody the same. It's okay.
Listen, you don't have to explain yourself.
By the way, all the epileptics that are watching on Super Talk TV, I don't know if you've seen this, Joan.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, they're now into seizures because of the filler stuff on YouTube TV, Super Talk TV. So
I changed it back.
Oh, did you change it back?
Yeah.
So we'd stop literally triggering people into a seizure?
So I have never seen such a fast slew of yays in the YouTube chat on something ever before. It just came in one after the other.
All right, very good. We got to go. 7:39, Super Talk 99.7. But see, you can fight City Hall. Here at WTN, we do value our listeners. And if there's something that you want changed, then you just scream about it and we can change it. Because we know people, don't we,
Would it be
Sam?
acceptable if it wasn't so, if it didn't make people lapse into epileptic seizures? I mean, is it nice to have that?
I love what Mason did.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Just make a few little changes and, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently, 1816 says, don't forget the cheesy porn music. See, I can't hear if there's audio with that particular screen.
Is there cheesy porn music on there? I don't.
If you saw the screen earlier, please let us know because I can't hear it.
All right, let's see. J.D. Vance going after Israel big time. This was like a huge story last night and this morning. So the vice president goes on Joe Rogan's podcast and says in no particular order that he is the target of an Israeli-funded propaganda campaign over his peace push over Iran. He also said that Jeffrey Epstein had ties to the highest levels of Mossad, and that influencers here in America are being paid to bash the Iran deal. Now, that's not shocking, just like the Biden administration paid influencers to try and push their agenda. But there's a lot to this, and it's really interesting. So one of the things, and I made note in the 5 o'clock hour when I talked about this, is that this isn't Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens that is complaining about Israel. This is actually the vice president of the United States. Listen.
There was a Times story that came out yesterday that basically there are certain influencers in America who are being paid in order to attack the deal. I think some of it's just pure political ideology, right? It's foreign policy perspectives that are much different from mine. They think that America should that we can basically, you can wave a magic wand with the military and accomplish whatever you want. And, it's not that simple. You actually have to have a very clear objective. Military power can accomplish a clear objective, but you've got to have that clear objective. You can't just say, we're going to bomb until something good happens. That never works. The United States has tried that before. So I think it's a combination of things, but I definitely think you have seen this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal.
So really interesting, because in that one clip, it does sound like he is criticizing the administration's war in Iran. The exact quote, "We're going to bomb until something good happens." He said that never works. And, you could make the argument that that is what the Trump administration is actually doing. Now, he does say that, generally speaking, the vice president talks about not having a clear objective. I do believe that the Trump administration does have a clear objective in Iran. Right now, is to try to get them to the table, negotiate in good faith, and keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Now, all great things. But the problem is that on the overall scheme of things, it's not going to work. You and I both know, we all know that it's not going to work, because Iran is not interested in doing anything or negotiating anything in good faith. They don't. Now, we are bombing until Iran comes back to the table, but the military objective is to eliminate their nuclear threat and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. So that's what I would say. Now, whether or not he was actually bashing the Trump administration is certainly up for debate. That's what some folks were saying last night online. But it does feel like JD in that comment may have been going a little rogue, talking about the administration, perhaps. Here's more.
And, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's worth reading, because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
what is their position? Are they attacking you how?
Oh, it's social media posts. It's, they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me, saying that, people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that, I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson. And there's just so much bullshit out there, when what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the President of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives.
There you go. And you know what? Here's the deal. And I've said this before. J.D. Vance, if this whole Iran thing goes south on President Trump, and it could, this thing could end today and people won't be happy with the war. And so J.D. Vance, he's got his official position, which would be, you can complain about me all you want. You can complain about the war in Iran all you want. But the reality is that I was trying to negotiate an end to a war that I was against from the very beginning. So I think part of this is sort of staking officially and for the record, J.D. Vance, what his position has been on the war. That's number one. But number two, calling out Israel, allegedly, calling out Israel for, as he says, paying for all of this, social media bashing, where it's really, they're paying big money for an influencer campaign here in America so that people would not have a negative opinion on Israel, because Israel, as you know, they just want to keep fighting. They just want to keep bombing. That's what they want to do. They don't want negotiation. They don't want diplomacy. They want to drop serious bombs on Iran. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they're trying to end this through diplomacy and negotiation. Israel doesn't want that. And so that's what Israel is trying to accomplish by going after J.D. Vance. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this coming up. But that's why they're going after J.D. Vance through this influencer campaign here in America and I guess across the world, is to try to discredit J.D. Vance as a negotiator, calling him naive and the rest of it, and that he is taking the side of terrorists, namely Iran. So this is really interesting, and you can tell that J.D. is getting a little ticked off at this. I've got more straight ahead. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. All right, as far as your weather goes, the fog that we've seen in some areas is beginning to burn off. And later today, we may have some thunderstorms and a high of 90. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So you've got Israel paying folks to go after J.D. Vance. They've said that he is weak. They've said that he is appeasing Iran and that he's not on Israel's side. They've tried to say that he is too America first and that he is ill-equipped to lead these negotiations. Now, all of that is a bunch of BS, but this is what Israel is trying to do as they continue to try and keep this war with bombs dropping. The name that was brought up in this article, by the way, he's talking about this Time magazine article, a guy named Brad Parscale. Now, he used to work for Donald Trump as like a campaign manager, a lot of media experience as well. And so what he does these days is he's got companies, and people are saying that Donald Trump would not have won the first, I think it was the first campaign, without Brad Parscale. So he's got companies these days that'll come up with social media campaigns to promote Israel. It's all perfectly legal. And basically, you have these global PR firms that would hire his company, and he would turn around and hire influencers to promote a certain narrative. So the accusation, of course, is that Israel is hiring these global PR firms that would hire his company, that would hire the influencers to promote Israel and bash Iran. Now, all of this because J.D. Vance, again, is more geared towards pro-peace, pro-America, America first. And America first as in, why are we spending billions of dollars in dealing with Iran when we could use that money to help Americans? And that is a very true and very legit argument. The Trump administration would tell you that their argument back and their answer to that is, well, we are protecting America by keeping Iran nuclear free. Again, a legit argument. So it's no secret that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, the Trump administration, have not seen eye to eye on Iran. And so Vance, what he says here plays right into that discussion.
Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans meaning American leadership, allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first, and that's the way that I've tried to do this job.
I love what J.D. Vance just said right there. It's not often you hear a vice president tell people to go to hell. I like what he did there. I like that he's standing up for himself. And part of that Time magazine article that he's talking about said that there were people inside the Trump administration that were being influenced by these campaigns. So I do love that JD is being so open about his frustrations here. And you can hear his frustrations. You can hear that he's angry that not only are they attacking his performance, but they're attacking him personally as well. Remember the reporting that Charlie Kirk and Benjamin Netanyahu communicated about young American conservatives losing their support for Israel. And Charlie, he was very concerned about all of this. And so this is part of the article on this guy, Brad Parscale. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government had hired Parscale to improve the nation's standing among conservatives, only to watch support continue to erode on the American right and across the broader U.S. electorate. We are pissed at Brad Parscale, says the Israeli official familiar with the arrangement, who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. He was supposed to make things better. We have paid him a lot of money, but what did he do with it? Things have only gotten worse. But the problem is the war in Iran has gotten worse. And I'm not sticking up for this Parscale guy, whatever. But things with Iran and Israel have gotten worse too, because we have literally seen incidents where Donald Trump is on the precipice, he would say, of a peace agreement with Iran, and then Israel would attack Hamas in Lebanon, right? So Hezbollah in Lebanon. And so then, of course, what happens is Iran would pull out of the deal. And it's obviously frustrating for all of us who are wanting the whole war to be over. It's like, why does Benjamin Netanyahu have to do this now? Why did he have to bomb these folks now? And don't forget, the Trump administration on occasion would say that, okay, so you've got Hezbollah who would drop some bombs into Israel and it'd land in the middle of nowhere. And then Israel, is accused of taking out an apartment building and killing a bunch of civilians. And people said that was nothing but propaganda. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of nuanced conversation here. But bottom line is, I thought it was fascinating that J.D. Vance goes on Joe Rogan, the biggest, I would say it's one of the biggest platforms, if not the biggest communications platform there is in America today, and just unloads on this entire situation. And I believe that it does set him up for success in the presidential race heading into 2028, because he is on record as stating exactly where his position is regarding this deal with Iran. It is 7:54 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, why the owner of a pizza shop in Memphis says he had to close his doors for a couple of days. It's coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. And Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. They've been helping out Tennesseans for over 100 years with fair prices and outstanding customer service. Now, right now, they've got great deals on all things electronics, appliances, furniture, lawn and garden, and a whole lot more. Now, you know that DT McCall's, they've been saving Middle Tennesseans money for over 100 years. 4 generations of trusting people treating people right, with a focus on savings and customer service as well. Now, first thing I do when I realize I need something is I do go to dtmccalls.com, check out the latest specials, and typically I'll order right from the website. But if I have to go see it, I have to go to a brick and mortar store, then I'm going to go. They always help me out and answer any questions that I might have. So if you need anything for your home, your garage, or your backyard, you only need to go to one place, my place, that is DT McCall's. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online. dtmccalls.com. That's dtmccalls.com. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Man, talking about dropping bombs, and I'm not talking about like Iran. Have you seen Nick Shirley going to town and talking about all the fraud?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So details on that and a whole lot more straight ahead. So we've been just having fun with the new features over there on Super Talk TV. One of the other things that people were complaining about, I guess, is that the music utilized was something akin to like porn music. So
Wait, is that the music?
yeah, I guess.
That doesn't sound pornish to me.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Time out.
All right, well, I don't know what porn music sounds like.
How many porn movies have you seen, Joe Jones? Because, you portray yourself as, Lily White as the day
I watch
is long.
porn all the time.
So, okay. I don't know if this is porn music or not.
It depends on the era, all right?
Sam, of course, embracing his porn-loving self.
No. Read the text, and I agreed with the text. That's all I'm saying.
Which is?
That it sounds like cheesy porn music.
From the 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s?
90s, 2000s.
All right.
It's,
Can I just say that if I ever look at porn, it's not for the music? Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Your forecast and traffic coming up in 5. The owner of a pizza shop in Memphis is defending his decision to turn away 4 Tennessee National Guardsmen who came into his shop to grab some lunch. Miles Tamboli says despite receiving phone calls and emails that call him out for what he did, he maintains that he did the right thing. Tamboli says he's been forced to close the doors of his business, at least for temporarily, for all the negative press and exposure that it received on social media. The sharp turnaround in Memphis crime because of the task force has led to a new statewide task force being created. Here's Memphis Action News 5's Michaela Redmond.
Wide task force is chaired by the TBI director along with the safety commissioner and appointed district attorneys, sheriffs, and police chiefs. A total of 8 members deciding when crime in a jurisdiction is so prevalent that it threatens public safety and additional safe initiative operations are needed. TBI has been authorized to hire 32 new agents. The agency posted on Facebook about a virtual recruitment fair in Memphis on July 29th to help hire new agents.
Now, this hiring event is in Memphis, but all 32 new hires will not be assigned to Memphis. An American Iranian citizen has been released by Tehran.
There is a glimmer of good news because Dina Karari, an American woman held in Iran since 2024, has been released by Iranian authorities. President Trump made this announcement on social media. He called this a gesture of goodwill by the Iranians. Her lawyer says she was subject to bogus charges of espionage and suffered enormous psychological and physical hardship. Some good news there, but her release does not change the situation here in the Middle East. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed.
That's ABC News chief correspondent James Longman there. She was taken, by the way, in December of 2024 in the waning days of the Biden administration. The British government is preparing to advise its citizens to keep a stockpile of long-life food, bottled water, and essential medicines. It's warning of everything from severe weather to cyber attacks on data infrastructure. The chief secretary to the prime minister saying artificial intelligence advances have threatened the country's data and water infrastructure, police systems too. Those warnings, he says, are part of a broader series of updates to Homeland Defense. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures mixed still this morning. Dow futures plus 16, but NASDAQ futures are down 288. S&P futures are falling 27. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, if you're ready to save some money, my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling are buzzing with some of the sweetest deals of the season. Hey, it's Dan Mandis for Busy Bee. You buy a select high-efficiency HVAC unit, you're going to get a free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment to help keep your home's air cleaner and fresher. How about some plumbing deals? You can save $800 on whole home water and drain line replacements, or take $500 off a Halo 5 descaler and a whole home water filtration system. They're always looking to save you money at Busy Bee. One more really cool thing that they're doing right now for the month of July. You join the Beehive Club and you'll get a free yearly Beehive membership to give to someone in your neighborhood. By the way, if you need some financing, they can help you with 0% financing for 18 months and no interest if paid in full within that time. Great savings as usual. From Busy Bee HVAC, call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Online anytime, busybeehvac.com. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling offers valid with approved credit where applicable. Restrictions apply. See website for complete details and disclaimers.
A crash on Briley Parkway southbound before I-24 in Glen Cliff, also in West End, Charlotte Avenue at 28th Avenue, and in the Woodlands, a crash at Old Hickory Boulevard west of Woodland Hills Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.808, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to the Nick Shirley stuff another time, perhaps. Bottom line is he went to New York. He also went to California, and he uncovered all kinds of fraud. There's another story, though, that I want to get to because it's kind of sort of breaking, where there is a video that is absolutely horrifying, and we're going to play it on Super Talk TV. I'm going to describe it for you, though. No audio, but it is video of a 74-year-old white man who is being brutally beaten by a pack of 6 black, I'm going to assume, young men. They come up on him with a gun, and I'm playing it here on Super Talk TV. It's outside of a 7-Eleven. It's about 3:45 or so in the morning.
This
Joan,
is so hard to watch.
This is Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
And this guy is trying to go into a 7-Eleven. They come up on him, and they've got a gun pointed at him, and then they all just sort of descend on him, and they start beating him up. 74 years old. And this poor guy, he ends up on the ground. They're kicking him, they're beating him, and it is just awful. So the Baltimore Police Department, this happened back on July 7th, and I had Sam look up the story.
Yep.
No arrests have been made. Now, I don't know if there's a way to find out who these kids are. It looks like they've got hoodies on, I guess.
Hoodies and the shiesties, as the kids call them, the ski masks.
And it looks like one of them might be a female, but it's hard to tell. But anyway, and they're just beating this guy up, and the guy's trying to defend himself. And ultimately he ends up on the ground. I've got the first few seconds here. Then we've got the second part of it. I'll run that as well.
They not only had a gun, they had a sword.
That is a sword?
A sword. WBAL News Radio in Baltimore reporting this.
See,
can I ask this question? Like, I'm generally curious. Like, how long does a knife have to be considered a sword? Like, I don't know. I'm asking a question. I have no idea. Maybe you're laughing at me, Sam. I don't know.
No, I'm not laughing. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah,
question.
I mean,
it varies state to state.
Okay, because I hear sword and I think like Jack Sparrow, that kind of a thing. But this is horrifying. This guy is down on the ground and
being kicked,
punched, body slammed.
Yeah.
They're one of them is holding a gun. So they got to find out who these kids are or who these people are, and they've got to charge them as adults, and they've got to put them away. I mean, that is the bottom line.
Yep.
That is what needs to.
It took them a week to post this. By the way.
I am so epically sick of these stories. And yeah, you know what? I believe it's a hate crime.
So
they prey on this 74-year-old white man.
It's so hard to get a gun in Maryland. It's so hard. They've recently enacted. They were challenged on their concealed carry law, and now you can conceal carry. But you know that they're about to outlaw. What's the guns you endorse? Glocks. They're about to outlaw Glocks.
I'm sure that the nice, upstanding young citizens here that are attacking this poor guy in a parking lot will follow the ban on Glocks.
But if that guy had a Glock, right? Mm-hmm. If that guy had a gun, those kids wouldn't be doing that anymore.
No, he would have been able to defend himself.
Yes.
Usually you bring, I've never been in this position, but if you pull out a Glock, if you got these like all these young ruffians and they're coming after you, you pull out a Glock, you pull out a gun, and they're going to back off. Or, and I'm just going to say this, one of these kids had a gun. So if you pull out a gun, then
my intention is to eliminate the gun that's being pointed at me.
No, I understand. No. I understand that. But this is now I'm playing devil's advocate because you people know that I am hardcore Second Amendment. Did he survive, this 74-year-old man? Did he survive?
Yeah,
I think so.
Fox 25 wrote the article, I guess the local station up in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's bare bones as all get out. They put out July 7th around 3:46, a 74-year-old man was assaulted in the 2500 block of Liberty Heights. Even I know that's not a good area to be, especially at that time. Police described the suspect as younger males. On Thursday, police released a surveillance video of the assault and attempted robbery. That's pretty much it. Like they say, one suspect can be seen displaying a gray assault-style rifle while another was holding a sword.
Yeah.
Suspects can be seen throwing items at the victim. That's it. They don't give an update on his health or how he's doing.
Yeah. So hopefully he's okay. Maybe you can chat GPT it. But if he pulls out a gun, then this other kid with the gun could take him out and say, well, he pulled out a gun, so I shot him, right? The old man hopefully lived to fight another day. if he pulled out a gun, it would have turned into a gunfight, and he may not have survived. Right? Am I making sense? Making sense, Joan?
I think so.
Like,
I think it's noteworthy too that this guy at 74 years old stands his ground.
He does, man. Like, I want to know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Because he does. He stands his ground.
And after the beating that he got back up again.
Yeah, they're throwing crates at him too.
Yeah.
You know, so the one guy with the sword and you got another guy with a gun. I don't know what they're trying to get, by the way. Are they trying to get his keys? Are they trying to get his
they're
wallet?
trying to steal his van. When the
first
kid,
thing they try to do is they try to get inside his van.
Yeah, the first kid that runs up on him and points a gun at him at the door, you can see another one runs behind him and starts trying to pop the door open on the van. So they were trying to take his money, take his car, which to me would indicate, especially by how they're dressed and their behavior. I mean, I'm no detective. I would put these kids no older than 19.
Oh yeah,
I would say the oldest among them would be 19. These are probably 16 to 18-year-olds that don't have a car, don't have any money, have nothing better to do.
No, they don't have parents.
Parents supervising them and keeping them home.
Yeah.
And so they want to rob this old man at gunpoint, steal his car and his money, and go have fun. That's their definition of fun.
I can see this sword, by the way. I mean, that is literally a sword. So if you think of, Pirates of the Caribbean, that kind of a thing, I mean, that's what it is. It looks a little short, but I mean, it is a sword.
Why did it take? Here's the question that's starting to really boil my blood on this, though. Is why did it take the Baltimore Police Department 8 days to release the surveillance video to help identify these individuals? What in the hell took so long?
The only thing that I can say is that maybe they didn't want to tip off these individuals that they were being investigated. You know what I mean? So, because if you release the video, then they know that the cops might be onto them. They might skip town. So
they don't have a car. They were trying to. They can't go nowhere.
So it's possible that. And by the way, did we find out how this guy is?
Yeah. So he is reported to be okay. That's according to another outlet in Baltimore. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries. No updates indicate any worsening of his condition, but his name has not been publicly
Do you know what
released.
I love, by the way? So the fact I don't love any part of this story, but you've got 6 of these degenerates, these animals, and they act all tough and bad. The 6 of them it takes 6 of them to beat up an old man,
right?
And they don't get his keys.
Right.
So how tough are you guys?
And like I'm glad he's okay. They didn't do a lot of damage either.
That's insane.
He could have broken something out there on the concrete. There's a ledge step up going into the gas station. There was the parking barriers. There were things to trip over and be injured by. And thank God it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, and they're throwing crates at his face, and they're coming up behind him and pushing him down and hitting him in the kidney. Kidney shots, that kind of a thing. So, yeah. And here's the thing. People like these attackers, they fear nothing. And that's the problem that we have in our society. That's the problem, Joan, that they have in Baltimore.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
That these animals, they don't fear that he's going to have a gun. They don't fear that the police are going to arrest them. And they don't fear that a judge is going to throw them in prison for 5 to 10 years for assault and battery. And I don't know if that's a felony in Maryland. It should be. But, they have no fear. And they certainly don't fear their parents. So that's the problem that we have in society today with this kind of a situation is these kind of people have no fear. And they should.
3604, great point. Dude was white. If he used a gun and shot one of them, Baltimore would have burned.
Yeah,
probably.
Yes. And somebody else, commenting below the X posting of this said, like we all know and we've heard before, if the races were reversed, it would just be outrageous. They'd have the kids in custody.
Do you know what was interesting? We're talking just since we're like apparently race baiting in this segment. I'm going to air quote that, by the way. So I was reading about Carmelo Anthony. Where, do you know that they were talking to Carmelo's, not one of his attorneys, they were talking to, I think it was Austin Metcalf's father and people that are like in the circle of that trial. Do you know that Carmelo Anthony up until the time, apparently, up until the time that the jury came back, he thought he was going to get off. He thought that he had this thing in the bag, according to the people that they were talking to. This was in the Daily Mail. According to the people that knew Carmelo and was in sort of like this tight circle, he was joking with his attorneys. He thought everything was going great. It wasn't until they came back with the guilty verdict that he realized, oh my God, they found me guilty. And then and that he's going to prison.
That's poor attorney preparation
Well, of
for
course
your client.
Yeah, but it's also that plays to this no fear that I'm talking about. Is he just Carmelo Anthony had not ever been taught consequences, and so the fact that he thought his trial, Sam, was going really well, is a testament to the fact that he doesn't know anything about consequences. Just like these 6 here.
Well, and that would also clearly tie into how he was raised, right? His parents not making him actually suffer consequences. I've got friends that are parents in this generation and stuff, and I get he's a little bit older than what my friends' kids are, but they don't believe in actual punishment, right? If they say, I'm going to ground you for a month, it lasts a week.
Yeah.
And then a week later, they're back on their tablet and distracting their kid with their technology. And so it's very clear he didn't understand that. And it's very clear that his attorneys and his parents all believed in this narrative that it was self-defense. Our baby's going to come home. It's going to be fine. And there are plenty of attorneys that'll look you in the eye and they'll tell you, I feel great about this case. I feel like we can win this case. But I don't want you getting your hopes up because you still could end up guilty of that charge or a lesser charge or something. And it's a very emotional thing that if you are not just a qualified attorney, but if you're a competent attorney, you are interacting with your client in that reality of this could go the way we don't want it to.
You've always got to hedge your bets. You've always got to prepare your client. Even I know that, and I'm clearly not an attorney.
But I'm kind of glad that was his attitude, because it means the sting of being found guilty and the even more painful sting of having his appeal eventually rejected is going to just hit that much harder.
Right.
And then maybe in about a year or two, it'll sink into his brain that what he actually did was wrong and he should have never behaved that way.
So, yeah, 1557, that old man is a real bad A. And somebody asking, where was the store clerk during the altercation? Store clerk hopefully was calling 911. Store clerk clearly didn't help. Well, in fairness, this is only 60 seconds of, and we don't know how long the entire fight was.
It's outside. I worked at a gas station on the overnight shift when I was younger. I will tell you, if no one's coming in, I'm holed up in the office on my phone. I'm looking at security cameras, and if someone walks through and the bell rings, I'm getting up out of my seat. But until that point, not really.
A lot of the places will tell you, if somebody's shoplifting or whatever, let them go because it's not worth your life. And we've actually seen people fired. This drives me nuts. We've seen people fired for confronting shoplifters. It's crazy. I want to say, was it Home Depot? I think it was Home Depot that did that, but I've seen that story many, many times.
Yeah.
Where somebody who is working as a clerk or whatever it is will confront a shoplifter, like in the parking lot, and say, give that stuff back. You didn't pay for it, or come in and pay for that. And they get fired. It is so crazy. All right, we're running late. 8:22 on Super Talk 99.7. We are up on YouTube today, right? Because somebody's saying no YouTube stream today. Yeah, we're on YouTube, Betty. Betty, I bet we're on YouTube because we have been all morning long. All right, Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, we'll tell you about Iran's goodwill gesture. It's even being called such by President Trump. He's praising it. It's coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You see people that look perfectly healthy only to suddenly have serious heart problems. I see it all the time, and it always makes me think of what could be ahead for me. That's why I appreciate what Kraft Body Scan does. Now, they scan your body to make sure that nothing bad is going on, inside. Their state-of-the-art technology can find the smallest irregularities months or even years before you feel symptoms of heart disease or cancer. It is better to know than it is to hope. My dad, many years ago, thought everything was okay, and it wasn't. That happens to a lot of people, thinking, I feel great, so I must be fine, right? Wrong. Sadly, my dad passed away at an early age, and it's something that I think about all the time. Now, at Kraft Body Scan, their scans are quick, non-invasive, and you're going to walk out with real answers. It is fast, easy, and it can give you real peace of mind or an early heads up before symptoms ever show up. And right now, Kraft Body Scan is offering our listeners their couples heart and lung scan, valued at over $2,500 for just $99. To take advantage of it, just go to togetherwescan.com or call them 615-436-1000 and use promo code DAN50. That's promo code DAN50. This summer, don't just hope everything's okay. Know that you're okay with Kraft Body Scan. Again, that's togetherwescan.com, 615-436-1000 with promo code DAN50. 829, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so how Sam and Joan, how are the numbers on YouTube right now? Because, Chris, who has graced me with his presence early, Chris has walked in.
You're welcome.
And thank you very much. It's always great to see you.
Why didn't you say thank you?
So, thank you, yes. So, but I've been sending people over to see the new filler that we have when we're on commercial breaks, because people, the people that have epilepsy were apparently being triggered into seizures. So I sent people over to check it out. And, frankly, Chris, it was just so that I could sort of build my numbers, because I'm always competing with you. Like me and you, for people that don't know, Chris and I get along so well that we have like a friendly rivalry every day as far as who's got the most numbers. So I've been encouraging people to, go see it. Now, I will apologize in advance if there's somebody that has epilepsy and you watched it and I sent you into an epileptic seizure.
Oh, yes.
I am sorry.
Let's go back to the stagnant hold screen that people complained about for the last year and a half, because we got how many complaints, 3 or 4 on the new screen?
I don't know.
No, more like 15 to 20. It was a lot.
But we were losing like 15 to 20 viewers every time we would go into commercial break.
Well, they don't like it. They don't like it at all. 275 people watching right now with 97 likes.
How many epileptic seizures?
0 seizures reported, but we probably wouldn't hear from those individuals because they'd be receiving emergency medical care.
If you had an epileptic seizure, send us the bill, and we'll
send us the bill.
And the tickler of the algorithms will have to pay up.
Bite down on your wallet.
Yeah, the director of algorithm tickling. That's Mason's official title.
Is that Mason's official title?
Yep.
By the way,
sounds dirty, but isn't.
You know what, Joan? Go back to your porn.
Oh, come on.
Did you hear that we discovered that Joan watches porn?
I didn't think that sounded like porn music either.
Thank you.
Yeah, but how did Joan know that it did not sound like porn music? That means that Joan knows what porn music sounds like. I have never, in my life, my delicate eyes and ears have never heard or seen porn music.
The assumption was it was like a bounce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's what it was like in the 70s.
That's what I expected.
We started this bit way too early because we're now 2 minutes late for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 8:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got the forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. The U.S. intensified its strikes targeting Iran early today, hitting targets further north now, as American forces also firing into a ship that it was accused of trying to break its naval blockade on the Islamic Republic. Iran retaliated with missile and drone fire, targeting Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait, saying that its attacks may escalate. Meantime, Iran has released an American citizen, Dina Karari. She had been held in Iran since December of 24 during the waning days of the Biden administration. President Trump calling today's developments a goodwill gesture on behalf of Iran. In Smyrna, it's now legal to bring a handgun into a public park. Here's Channel 4's Steve Mailing.
It isn't often she's felt in danger, but that may change.
I think it was going to make me a little more hypervigilant.
Teresa's reacting to a new law in Smyrna, approved Tuesday night, that will now allow guns to be brought into public parks.
Honestly, I'm conflicted about it. I'm not a gun owner myself, but my grown sons are, and they carry them for protection. So I don't know what to say other than it kind of makes me feel a little bit safer, I guess.
The council made the change after Hughes v. State in Gibson County Chancery Court earlier this year, a ruling that found banning guns in parks unconstitutional.
Now, Smyrna became one of the first mid-state cities to adopt the new standard. And got a heads up here if you're traveling on I-65 north at the I-440 exit. You'll remember that is where a tractor-trailer crashed into a big roadway sign stanchions during the winter storm in January, and it brought that sign down onto the roadway. Well, TDOT says there'll be some delays between 8 o'clock tonight and 5 o'clock tomorrow morning while they install the new sign there. You can expect a rolling roadblock, Harding Place to the 440 split. Some northbound ramps will also be closed. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. And the opening bell just sounding of the Dow Jones Industrials up 68 points at the start here. The NASDAQ, however, down 162. We've got the S&P falling 21 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Crash in Hermitage, Central Pike at I-40, the ramp there, Nashville at Harding Place and Tampa Drive, and in Antioch on Murfreesboro Pike at Hamilton Church Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There it is.
Yeah, Chris, this sounds exactly like how you described music of a pornographic nature.
Chris knows.
Do you see that Joan is trying to distract from her own porn watching? That's what it is. Just throwing you right under the bus.
I texted Mason. I said Dan's mad that there's not enough Dan featured in that video. So you need to find that one video that we have saved of you picking your nose on the YouTube stream and replace it with that.
Sure. For the record, I didn't say there wasn't enough me. The YouTube people said there wasn't enough me. I merely perhaps agreed. Now, here's the thing, though.
Tell us how you really feel.
But can I just say this, though? First of all, I love what you guys are doing. Or what Mason's doing. You and Mason are like simpatico, right? So when I say you guys, I mean you and Mason. Because I know that you're...
I may or may not be the Mason whisperer.
What do you mean?
Like, I plant these ideas and I let them be Masons.
Listen, so 2 years ago, I came up with this concept where I wanted to take show clips. And I wanted to take show clips. Joan, do you remember this? I wanted to put show clips, and I put together a whole thing, show clips and audio, and it was like 3 minutes long, and it was going to run during the breaks when we didn't have any commercials. And I put a few together, and we ran them on the stream. They didn't like that. Like these people on the YouTube stream who we absolutely love, you're like wives.
What do you mean, these people?
You're like wives, you just can't make them happy. So I tried that, and everybody complained about it. And it's like, fine, then have the static screen. Whatever.
That's what they'll get. You get what you deserve.
I liked what I did 2 years ago. Next thing I knew, I was fired as program director. Totally kidding. So I don't know.
Many such cases.
Many such cases. I still like the concept of this whole thing of putting clips in. But that's like work intensive. Nobody really wants to do work.
We've been running anime during the commercial breaks of my show.
Have you really?
Yeah, we have.
You have not.
Anime?
Yeah.
No, Joan, don't fall for it. No, he hasn't.
We really have. Sam, pull it up. There's anime in there. It's Donald Trump anime.
I don't even know what anime truly is. Like, I've heard about it.
I found it on a meme site, and it was Donald Trump anime responding to the No Kings protesters, and I thought it was hilarious. So I said, Mason, this is for in between the commercials. And then I found another one where it was Trump after they captured Maduro, and he was in the press conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
But AI dressed him up like Eazy-E.
Like what?
Like Eazy-E from NWA, because he was saying gangster things. So we run that during
really
between the commercials.
Are we allowed to do that?
I'm going to do things until I get told not to. I don't ask for permission, Dan. I ask for forgiveness. Is
that what you do?
It's a key difference between you and I, my friend.
Yeah, that sure is. Sure is.
And it happens often where I have to ask for forgiveness, but they oblige me.
See, you know what's so funny? I've been trying to behave today because today is my actual meeting with the boss, and like we typically he listens like one day when we have like a meeting. So I've been trying to be good today, and what do we lead with? Porn music. Well done, everybody.
Perfect.
You're welcome.
Well done.
I'm actually a little nervous.
Why?
So I think my official meeting was next Wednesday, but it might have been yesterday.
Ooh, nice.
And if it had been yesterday, I forgot. But I do know that he reminded me on like Monday about the date and time of our official meeting.
So you just weren't paying attention?
Do you often ignore the boss, Chris?
What'd you say? So I don't know. I might still have an opportunity to be early, or I might be very late.
Did he say what Wednesday?
I don't know.
Because it could have been like any Wednesday. I thought you meant next Wednesday.
He rolled up on me while I was in the middle of show prep.
Oh, is that what it is? He rolled up on you?
He rolled up on me, trying to strong arm me.
Yeah.
Said, Chris, we need to talk about how you've been doing things. And I was like, yeah.
Wow. That's actually pretty funny.
So we'll get to it, pal.
Well, maybe if you lose your job, somebody like who has filled in the previous, episodes.
Wow, Joan's gunning for your job.
Jump right in there.
You know what you could do, Joan? You could just
smooth transition.
You know what would be great? Joan could just like have porn music as her bumper music. That's what she could do.
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll call Dez.
And then you know what? And then you know what? You and Sam could talk about the different porn music of every decade.
Yeah.
And the differences. You compare and
I agreed
contrast.
with one texter, and this is how I'm being treated. Acting like I'm some kind of aficionado that has viewed thousands of hours of material. Get out of here, Dan Mandis.
Listen, give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. I'm going to be out of here like nobody's business. Anyway, so we were talking about the best movies ever earlier.
Yes.
And
I was also offended by that because you get on the air and you're like, we're going to save it till 8:35. And then Sam says, no, we're not. We're going to do this right here.
Whoa.
Right now.
I did run it by him. And then he said, let's go.
Then Sam hijacked your segment.
Well, you know what?
Do you often let your producer hijack your segments? Because
too often.
It never happens here.
Way too. I'm pretty sure that's what the boss is going to tell me about is Sam's hijacking of my segments. No, but I forget exactly how it went down, but yeah, The Godfather is the supposedly the best movie ever based on whatever they base these things on. Star Wars not even in the running, which was shocking. So
is it really though?
Yeah,
You
it is
really
shocking,
found that
Chris.
shocking?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was more shocking that Mrs. Doubtfire didn't make the list.
Listen, slippery slope. Mrs. Doubtfire brought us to kids being transitioned.
It's true.
It ranks at 21, Star Wars A New Hope, on their 300 best movies of all time.
21?
So it makes the top 25.
Way too high.
It's right after Top Gun Maverick and right before Godzilla -1.
Godzilla -1?
The latest one.
The latest Godzilla? The latest Godzilla?
I didn't know there was a new Godzilla.
No, it's under. So it's Top Gun Maverick beats Star Wars, then Godzilla -1 is after Star Wars.
Are you a big Godzilla fan?
No, I'm just shocked that even made a list.
Yes.
Joan, are you a Godzilla fan?
No. No.
You know how Joan feels about the Japanese.
Joan's busy watching porn. It's probably Japanese porn.
Oh,
anyway.
The boss. By the way, the boss texted me.
Oh, no.
Said for clarity, it was yesterday.
Tell the boss I'm available.
I'm texting right now.
Apparently he's listening right now.
Joan's available.
Joan, you've got 2 minutes to audition for Chris's job. Go. He's listening.
I did it last week. Well, 2 weeks
Anyway.
ago.
Yeah, I didn't know there was so I happen to be a Godzilla fan. I love those movies.
Do you?
Oh, absolutely. Godzilla,
What, you like that? What's that one? Gargantuan thingy-mabob?
War of the Gargantuas.
Yeah.
It's a classic, Joan.
Nerd.
Oh, is that why people were calling me a nerd? Because people, you know how you talk and then you look at the text line and you see all these comments and you have no idea why people are calling you things. So I apparently made mention of War of the Gargantuas earlier and people were calling me a nerd. Actually, I would be a nerd if I was advocating for Harry Potter on the list, which, by the way, is Harry Potter on the list because it should be. Because
should not. It's satanic and full of witchcraft.
You know what?
That's the kind you won't watch The Godfather, but satanic witchcraft, you're all in.
Do you know what, Chris? If you were in Harry Potter, you'd be slithering.
No Harry Potter film ranks in the top 300 movies of all time.
Okay, they're uppity. This is what I'm saying about these people. They're uppity.
How about Sound of Music?
The part 2 of Deathly Hallows, so the last film, appears at 171 on the 300 movies list. But it's not obviously it's not a standalone. It's a part 2.
All right.
Also, Joan was mad that Gone with the Wind wasn't on there.
Yeah, come on.
But you understand how problematic and racist Gone with the Wind is.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
That's probably why it's not on.
Oh, you think that's why?
Yeah, Breitbart had an article on that the other day.
Oh, must have missed that.
But wait a minute. The maid in Gone with the Wind got an Oscar or was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Right?
She wasn't allowed to show up. I know that.
She wasn't allowed to. Yeah, no, she wouldn't be allowed to show. I'm trying to think back to when I read that article, but I think you're right. She was not allowed to show up.
Nope.
So, yeah.
There was some comedian who said, "Don't worry, she came back and got her money. She was reincarnated as Oprah."
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
The movie got 13 Academy Award nominations
Gone with the Wind?
and won 8 competitive awards. Yep. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress.
Do you know, I did watch some of Gone with the Wind. I've never watched the whole thing because I just didn't like the movie.
Well, you don't have a whole weekend to watch it.
Yeah. So here's the story from Breitbart. If you look for the 1939 masterpiece Gone with the Wind on Netflix, you'll be smacked across the face as a racist and scolded into seeking out far left-wing radicals and Black Lives Matter.
Wow.
It says in their description, a 1939 American Civil War epic known for its racism. To learn more about Black lives in America, search Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
You know, that organization that just misappropriated a ton of funds and built no schools or playgrounds. And
Siphoned all that money.
Burned down cities.
The only thing they built was large mansions for the leaders of Black Lives Matter. 3386 says Team Brown Gargantua. So in War of the Gargantuas, there is a green one and a brown one. And the brown one was the good one and the green one was the bad one.
since we're going back to things we just spoke about, but nobody really cares.
Sure.
With the boss texting me, I think it's important to point out that there was a window of opportunity there, Mr. Suit, that I could have turned the car around, and I didn't get a text. I think he was
Chris.
happy. I think he was thrilled that he got to cancel the plans and go to lunch early.
Because you know what? He so didn't want to do it that he put it on your calendar.
I don't know how those things work.
Oh, Chris. I know how these things work.
Calendars are racist, all right?
Is that what it is?
You got to check your privilege, Dan.
Oh, wow.
I can't be expected to be on time.
You know,
I would
radio,
be embracing my whiteness too much.
Sure. In radio, they do have this thing about being on time, just so you know. That's actually what we call it, on time.
The latest I'll be is 1 week, I promise.
Wow.
And I will. Paul, if you're still listening, I will be showing up next Wednesday.
Okay, so I don't know. Paul put it on his calendar. We'll see if he shows up.
I don't know how that works.
Do you not even get, like, you seriously don't know how, I live by my calendar.
I have several calendars.
Here's what's funny, though. Mine is today. I totally forgot about it until like a few minutes ago.
When Chris said something, it reminded the three of us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, oh, well, I remember like earlier today, but yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
Here's the best part.
What?
You're the only one out of the show that has to go.
Well, because he needs to be able to talk freely about you guys.
Oh. I see.
We got to do something about Joan and her addiction to porn. She keeps bringing it up, man.
That computer is riddled with viruses back there.
Oh, man.
It's like the elderly community of Washington, D.C.
Did you hear what happened to Sam yesterday?
What? What happened to Sam?
He got like accosted by prayer in the parking lot.
He got accosted by prayer?
Yeah, he
How do you get accosted by prayer?
If there's any way to pivot out of that.
Monty Fritz, and in a good way. Monty Fritz.
How do you accost someone in a good way, Dan?
I'm going to explain it if you let me.
I'm trying to.
Now Chris is getting all uppity. So
would you consider this accosting?
So I forget exactly what happened, but Sam was saying something to Monty, and before he knows it, Monty and John Henry are praying for Sam. I think it's the greatest story ever. Tell it again. You told it at 5:30. This tells you a lot because I like John Henry and I like Monty Fritz. Yeah. And so if you guys, by the way, if you guys could pray for me, because I do have my meeting later on today after this crap show of a show.
Who do you think needs prayer more, Sam or Dan? Put it on the YouTube poll.
That would be me. But tell that story again, Sam, because I think it's a great one.
Yeah, so the other day I'd mentioned to Chris, like he talked about wearing his Monty Fritz shirt to church, and I was like, I don't have my Monty Fritz shirt, and people reached out and were trying to get me a shirt, and so when Monty came in for his interview yesterday, went down to the car to help him bring some hats into the studio, got a hat on, which, by the way, they're very comfortable, and just trying to open up with him, be a little more, personable as to who I am and who's advocating for him to be governor. And he took what I had to say to heart and was extremely responsive to kind of just a quick synopsis of my life story. And as I concluded with him that, just my journey has led me here. And on that journey, I've been growing in my faith and seeing the Holy Spirit move in my life. He felt compelled to pray over me. And just about that time, John Henry, Sergeant Major's pulling up. And he hopped out of his car. And so both of those gentlemen put their arms on me, and Monty led us in prayer. And it was just a very powerful, beautiful moment out there in the roundabout out in front of the station.
I think that's good.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I love it.
I know,
you don't
right?
see that every day.
No, it's awesome.
So,
A lot of dudes look at prayer and religion as a weakness, and it's like the exact opposite. That is the base of your strength.
Charlie Kirk was one of the strongest people I've ever witnessed.
Amen.
And that was all rooted in his faith and family.
And the greatest pastors I've ever had, if you were telling them about something, it may not necessarily be a problem, but just something you're working towards or something that you feel God is calling you to do, they felt that in that moment, okay, the Holy Spirit's here with us, and we need to confirm this in prayer, and we need to pray over whatever this subject is, if it's a career aspirations, one of the things Monty and I talked about. And so it was just a very powerful moment to kind of think about potentially, hopefully, the next governor of this state has that kind of mentality where it's not just let's get the job done, let's get the job done in a way that's according to our faith and our values.
By the way, 6794, we've all been well danned.
Oh.
Get your stories right. Hattie McDaniel did accept her Oscar at the event. It was the best acceptance speech ever.
Oh.
Played on air as
You sure about that?
penitence for spreading lies.
Penance.
I don't know. He spelled it wrong. Blaming 6794 for my inability to know what.
Dan's warming up for his meeting later with the boss. He's going to blame things on everyone else.
Let's see. 8064 says, Lord Jesus, help Dan avoid dumpster fires. In Jesus' name, amen. That's what we need to do. That's how we need to open up every single show, is with a prayer to ensure the host does not step into dumpster fires, which I seem to start every single day.
That doesn't mean that the dumpster fire won't have to roll by occasionally. It just means you won't step in it and be stuck there.
It's true.
Okay. By the way, other people praying for Joan's porn addiction.
That was very nice of them.
Wasn't that nice, Joan?
Yes. You're so in trouble with me, Dan.
It's all right. All right, Joan, what's coming up after the news at 9 or before the news? Hey, Joan, what's happening in the news at 9? Then we'll talk about what's after the news at 9 with Chris. Go,
There
Joan.
will be some news at 9, I can assure you.
Absolutely. And then a meeting with the boss after. Coming up in the news, a crazy mass murder story out of Illinois. These details are insane. It's coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And after that newscast,
we're going to talk about the president's bombshell announcement tonight as he addresses the nation. We'll also bring you some of the latest on the latest clips from J.D. Vance and Joe Rogan. Did anybody actually watch the entire 3-hour interview?
I got an hour and a half in.
I didn't at all. We'll also talk about the latest on Iran and President Trump's Pennsylvania Defense and Investment Summit thing. You know the thing?
That thing? That's
You
the
know
thing.
the
The thing. I know the thing.
You know the thing.
All right, 856 on Super Talk 99.7 Generator Supercenter. One of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family, and if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get it back on quick. You need the Generator Supercenter. You've seen the horror stories of power being out for days or weeks at a time. The Generator Supercenter provides backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. Now, as a matter of fact, go to their website right now, find out how you can save $500. Tell them Dan Manda sent you to Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, and see how you can get started. Now, they do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So get your backup home standby generator from the Generator Supercenter, 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952, and don't forget to check out their website, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, and see how you can save $500. Dan Mandis here, 858, Super Talk 99.7, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you've been suffering from chronic back pain, neck pain, or knee pain, they can help you like they've helped so many others across Middle Tennessee. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, whether it's non-surgical, spinal decompression, or the brand new Medical Bay 1, they've always got the latest and greatest technology to help get you off the sidelines and back into the game. Now, they did it for me years ago, and they can do it for you right now. Now, this Medical Bay 1, right now, actually, they have a great deal going on. You mention my name, get $33 off of each visit. It is the Epic Spinal Special. What is Medical Bay 1? What it does, it uses that red light technology and stem cell stimulation for tissue regeneration and healing. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, online anytime, painisbad.com.